550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a day with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Titan Immortal Grand Finals between DropDeadGaming and Cupid Esports. My name is Fel, and I'm joined tonight by USA JJ. JJ, how we doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to actually be here casting these teams. The team that took me out and a fan favorite of Cupid. I'm really excited to see these teams go at it.
Nice, and we got a good banger for you guys today. Immortal, we're both filling in here, but the Immortal series, as everybody knows, Group A kind of swept everything. DropDeadGaming went 6-1 during the season, Cupid 5-2, but the only loss for DropDeadGaming was actually Cupid during the season. But it's been a couple of months. How does it feel when you're in this position and you basically only lost to this one team? They lost to teams that you stomped, and now you're seeing them again in the finals.
Yeah, I feel like for DDG, it's a little bit of a scary monster under the bed. I feel like they got this easy season. They're cleaning out everyone. They're sweeping the entire league. They lose to Cupid, and now they got to face them again for the final time for the grand finals. I feel they've taken out every other competition. They've taken on big competition, and now they have to kind of seal it away. Cupid's no shy to the 5-game series. Tough battles either. They've dropped a game to Conduit on the way here, and that we're getting to finals. Had a 5-game series all the way to get to finals themselves against Conduit. Took it all the way to the end final team fight. And then now they're here against DDG, probably the known best team in this tournament so far. I'm very excited to see these teams go at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. And just when you're at this level, there's not very much more of a ceiling for these players. It's masters. Some of these are probably trying to get picked up for Challenger League teams and things like that, and maybe even push, forever on from here to the pros or, potentially. So, there's a lot on the line here. It's a big moment for you to really shine and show off your skills, and not just your skills, but your ability to adapt to, adjust to changing metas, maybe be able to go over into different comps and be able to perform against other people that are also trying to do the same thing. So we'll see how people are willing to, to do that, right? Like how well can they communicate? A lot of the coaches here are probably looking for potential prospects to move up and promote. So a lot is riding on the line here. And is there anybody that you expect here? I'll give you 2 questions in one. Anybody you're expecting to really rise to the occasion and showcase that they are absolutely ready for that next step? And then on the other end, anybody that you think potentially could end up messing this up just for fun?
Yeah, I think the two major players that are going to be to watch are going to be Trix and Evil Lobster. I think these junglers have taken over the meta. I think Trix is a monster. He's been a surprise this split, a name that I did not know, and he has absolutely came out and stomped everyone he's played against. I think Evil Lobster has been consistent. This DDG roster made it to finals last time, sub out of top, and they're back again to try and take it all this time. I'd say the player to watch that might be a little bit on the edge is maybe Quaztech or either of the top laners. I think that one's going to be a little bit of a tough battle. I think both those could swing quite rapidly. As we get into pick and ban here, we already see 2 jungle bans and Orianna ban.
Yeah, so it looks like we're getting a mid and a top ban from Cupid, and then DDG as the #1 seed did get side selection. They opted into the blue side, so they are going to want that B1 prio pick, and then giving Cupid the counter pick to whichever lane they want to. And if that's the case for your prediction, maybe that ends up going to the mid lane, as Hui and Caitlyn are also taken out here. Prediction for B1 before it comes? Dang it. Wukong.
I was going to say, the Wukong is a staple. It's tough to pass up on the Wukong, especially for Evil Lobster. I think it's actually not his best champion, but he's very consistent on it, and I think he'll take it up every single time first pick.
Yeah.
Well, There we go. Go ahead.
And then when you get the Ambessa, I'm assuming that would be a jungle answer Ambessa. We're not going to be picking the top in the R1, but again, like I said, I don't really know these teams as much, but with the Karma coming out too, I'm assuming that's probably a jungle and support. So a good answer to it. Both of these are extremely mobile in a lot of situations, a lot of backline lockdown and being able to get in there and just kind of like take it, as we see the Renekton coming in. So this is a good bruisery in your face kind of comp style from DDG that they're coming out with. I'm assuming we'll see a support answer here as we get the Rel into the Karma.
I'm curious about the Renekton pick. I wonder if they're not worried about the flex at all. They have to assume that's Mbessa top, immediately go with the counter pick Renekton. Very consistent, and it is an Mbessa top. Immediately answer with the Pantheon. Unless this the Pantheon top kind of spicy play here, but I don't really see that happening. I think Mbessa's really strong, so makes sense they grab it B1, but scary into the Renekton.
Yeah, it definitely is. But sometimes there's ego picks, right? Like sometimes you're just like, I know how to deal with this. I can take this Pantheon into the Renekton. I want this matchup, or vice versa. So thinking that that's Ambessa, pulling out the Renekton, thinking, I can fight this and I can do this. So we'll see as Alaskan and Floyn Livid, get into this matchup. But that's definitely going to be something I'm super excited to see, especially with if it's an Ambessa top with the Pantheon jungle, the ability to give your top lane so much agency and guaranteed stuns and just a lot of burst damage alongside that Ambessa to just help them out as much as they can. Is the Varus Karma is going to be the bot lane for Cupid here. Double range into the Rel, not always the easiest thing to pull off.
I saw that Ezreal ban, and I was going to say they were looking for something with that range, something to land that poke with that early Karma lock. And then the answer with the Rel, they have to have something more team fight based, something that can either survive lane or something that can go hard, similar to a Draven. They've gone with the survival, and they're looking to sweep these team fights. A really strong team fight comp coming out from DDG. Very strong ultimates, a really strong wombo combo.
Yeah, and I think it started right off the Wukong pick, right? They knew exactly what they wanted to do. The Renekton right after, Rel into that too. And as we get the Anivia on the backside for Cupid. So that's a pain to deal with, not just because of all of her lockdown and her ability to just create walls and pressure you in, and the amount of wave clear and damage she can do, but also the egg. I think we were just joking beforehand about different leagues and the egg getting killed by supports and stuff. So I doubt we'll see that tonight. But Anivia, very strong pick, very good counter to what DDG is trying to do. You can get into the backline, but then are you stuck with us, or did you really want to be here? So I really like DDG's comp here. I think it's very strong, like you said, as the ultimate synergize, it's going to be so easy for them to just kind of get in, get what they want to do, and then scrap and create a huge lane for Sivir to deal the damage. With that, as we're getting into the Rift, before we go, your prediction for game one.
I'm going to give this one to DDG. I think their draft is a lot more coherent, on the same page. I think the Anivia is an interesting pick, but I feel the top side wants to play aggressive, wants to be in there, wants to get onto that Sivir. And now we have these two picks that kind of want to play a bit slower, kind of want to control the space. Even poke Varus, Anivia, it doesn't really fit with that kind of vibe. So I'm very intrigued by the Anivia pick. I'm not sure if it fits what the rest of the team wants to do.
Yeah, I think it's more just like probably comfort at this point, for level one, especially, or for game one, especially, you're going to want to put your best foot forward, give yourself something that that you yourself can play safe with. We do know that Aurora should be getting the wave clear and the push tempo, above the Anivia early on, but late game, maybe they're looking to match a little bit of the turtling prowess and be able to just kind of clear waves from afar and do it safely as well. So it is going to be an interesting, I agree with you. I don't know how much it synergizes along with the rest of this. If that was an on hit or a crit Varus, maybe a little bit better synergy for it, but well, they have a plan and they're going to go.
It's definitely interesting. It's definitely going to it's got to be that lethality Varus. I noticed that he took Comet, so he's definitely going that lethality route. He's going to have to be landing that poke from afar to kind of make these fights meaningful. He's going to need to land it early too. as we can see in the bot lane, the early lane domination. Cupid has always been an interesting team. They've always had a great potential with their mid lane. He plays a variety of champions, picks about anything, but their strong suit has always been this bot lane. If Loki Dosi can get ahead, he tends to just tear apart the game, make it all about him, and he runs with it. I'm very excited to see that they gave them this super strong bot lane, and I want to see how they play with it. What do you think about this mid lane matchup too? By the way, I've never seen this mid lane matchup.
Aurora into I think that it really does come down to how well is Neversaw going to be able to pilot this champion in the late game. As I said, Quastek on the Anivia is going to be able to control the later parts of it. But what I expect to see is maybe a little bit of poking. If there's no jungle pressure coming out for either of these ones, I think it plays out just kind of the way we're seeing it. Neversaw is going to shove the waves and then get to the neutral objectives and just try to, make it a 3v2 or a 4v3 as soon as they can, and just going to have a little bit of prio. It's going to make it very difficult for Tricks on this Pantheon to do too much early on. I think Evil Lobster on the Wukong is going to have an easier time just because of this mid lane. We're getting into here, and Alaskan Kodak getting a little bit of extra damage on this Renekton. We do see the Ambessa did end up going for the grasp, so short bursty trades going to definitely favor this Ambessa. She likes to get in and out and pop that grasp. Is stepping on a ward, but Trix coming up here, and Alaskan getting huge damage down as Trix coming up here on the Pantheon is going to get the stun off and the hits onto the top of that. Blast the shield, and Alaskan Kodak going to try to turn this around, but not going to get it. First blood over to the side of Cupid Gaming. Tricks.
Evil Lobster there just finishes clear a slight bit late. Couldn't quite make it to the top side in time. Actually took the south side path, whereas Trix walked straight over the ward, straight to the top side, a bit faster. He will lose the double scuttle for it. Oh, or maybe not, actually, as we might get a fight with the support.
Yeah, as we see Aethel on the Karma waiting in the wings, Anivia chasing down, trying to get as much poke as they can, try to set up maybe a good stun here, but Evil Lobster, not dumb, does realize that Aethel is over here on the Karma. They're going to try to turn it down as it's going to come out. The smite is going to go over to the side of Cupid Gaming, so they do not get the double scuttle for DDG, and everybody's just going to walk away and get out of this one unscathed, as DDG a little bit behind in the early parts of this game here. And as you said, this bot lane being such a menace to deal with, as we're going to get another look over here at this gank.
Yeah, this was a huge tempo play. Trix finishes this clear slightly faster on the top side, whereas Wukong moves down. A good trade on by Alaskan Kodak, but not respecting that his jungler is not here to assist him being that far underneath the tower. An easy walk-up, stun, pick-up for Trix.
Yeah, and I think that maybe Alaskan thought, hey, I just hit level 4, I'll be able to get this kill off, as a little bit of extra poke coming out, the boomerang hitting on to Aethel, going to drive her down low. The bot lane for DDG, both sitting at half health here. And yeah, I agree. I think that maybe Alaskan saw him on the ward and was like, okay, I'm just going to get this quick kill and then move on from there, but it just didn't end up working out for him. Just barely not enough between that D-shield and the grass procs that, Fionn has gotten on this top lane with this Ambessa. So unfortunate for Kodiak, but he has been, getting the pressure and basically been winning the HP battle for the most part up until that point.
What's really interesting about this choice too is if you notice, both junglers have yet to recall. Neither one opting after that bot lane Scuttle Crab to reset and get items onto them. They've both done a second full clear. And I assume both will immediately reset. They've got to be sitting on quite a bit of gold as Alaskan chills on a ward, but nothing will come of it. Both junglers have way too much money. They have way too much gold to spend right now. So they're both going to reset. I'm really, really impressed by Trix's early game here, and especially by Aethel's cover. Managing to get off a gank in the top side and then get the Scuttle Crab taking from you and rotating all the way down to the bot side and have that covered as well is huge. Not behind any tempo whatsoever, perfectly on map as we get a fight in the mid lane.
Yeah, as Neversaw is going to end up popping the egg after ulting down. May not be able to get this. It doesn't look like they're going to have the time here, as Trix is kind of coming in here. He's going to get the wall. He's going to get stunned up inside the Anivia ult, but just has to flash out of it as Evil Lobster shows up. And now I'm assuming that they're going to be asking their junglers to try to help push this. At least Oztec will on the Anivia. Good play. A couple of summoners and a passive done, as the ultimate is going to come out from Alaskan Kodiak, and he shows what he was trying to do on the first time as he takes down solo kill for Alaskan Kodiak on this Renekton.
Top lane's a fickle thing, a give and a take. It's an easy win for Alaskan Kodak up there. I mean, he has the perfect matchup, and he is really showing why he wanted that pick into it. It is brutal up there. Fjorn is not getting anything done, it seems like. It seems like every time we go up there, he's just getting traded on, is sitting at no HP. I also want to point out Kostek's really, really good wall there, denying the jump from Neversaw, making her blow that flash instead is huge. It's a great penalty on being a little bit too deep to pop that egg, as Cupid will grab an uncontested Drake with that bottom push.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things there. And yes, I really love that. Aztec really knowing his champion, being able to not just stop it, but buffer it like almost perfectly, right? Like they tried to jump away, but they got stuck. So really knowing their range of that champion and what it can and can't do there. So good job by them. And yeah, this top lane for Ambessa is just not working out. Every time, like you said, we see them. For one, they're lower in health. They're pushed up against their own turret. So just going to have to do their best to sort of just sit this one out as much as they can. But with the dragon going on the way of Cupid, it looks like DDG is trying to get these grubs, and probably going to be uncontested with how much pressure they have in the top and mid.
Yeah, the rotation by Cupid's a little bit slow here. They wanted to swap for the grubs, and now it's going to be extremely awkward as they swap, but there's not going to be much to take. They may deny the 3 grub here with that smite coming out. I think they will deny the 3 grub.
Yeah, as a flash coming out from Panther, and the ultimate from Var is just missing wide left here now, as there's 2 different target lines here coming out from the side of Cupid, as Aztec's trying to get a little bit here as the ultimate's going to come out between worlds, pop down, trying to get on top of it. In the meantime, Pantheon sitting on the inside, Karma doing their best to get the shields off. Loki Dosi is going to fall, and blue team has DDG has claimed the feats of warfare now, as they are going to pick up the karma on the backside of that fight as well, and just not a lot going right for the side of Cupid Gaming. They did stop the 3 grubs, but they lose a 3-for-0 in the process.
Yeah, the powerhouse of Renekton having all that gold already being up there. Sivir can sit bottom and not care. Ambessa is never going to clear that gap enough to care enough. And as we watch this fight back, you can see the play is a flash stun immediately onto the Renekton, followed by a great flash. But now you're down Varus ulti for this fight. Kostek's off in the middle of nowhere, struggling to get into the fight from Neversaw. Great zoning from her. But they cross this path like they can just walk through, and it gets punished by the great teamfight comp of DDG. The Varus has no flash now and no barrier, and is sitting on top of a Wukong ulti. There's nowhere for him to go. It's a free kill, and the fight's just over after that.
Yeah, and you know, no Ambessa, they can't, join. They had to back, didn't have TP. Maybe that was something where they probably should have just called it off and went back to the top side there. But, just like you said, they thought that they had it. Is now Anivia with no egg is going to be forced to flash out of there, as Rel and Wukong moving together. Lobster and Kiwi Sim is just, showing that they have really good synergy here now, as the swaps have been made out. The Sivir is into the top lane against this Ambessa, and this is something where Branny fans going to have to be extremely careful if they keep it this way, as a lot of pressure being put on this bot turret by Cupid. But yeah, the Sivir on the top side probably not feeling really good into an Ambessa, even though she's behind.
Yep, and it looks like they're bringing that AD back to the bot side. Catch the wave, immediately recall. Gonna pick up all that farm in the bot side. It's going to be a very happy Sivir. Gets out of the lane of Varus for a bit, gets to farm a little bit, gets to come back with more items, not getting poked out as much. It's going to feel really happy to be Brandy fan right now. I think the biggest story right now that I'm seeing is the Neversaw mid. I think she is absolutely dominating this surprise Anivia pick. She's getting the prio, she's making the moves. She's really enabling Lobster to be where he wants to be and do what he wants to do. It's very good that this top side from DDG is winning, as the bot side just continues to scale up. It doesn't matter how far behind Sivir gets. If she hits 500 farm, she's a happy Sivir.
Yeah, she is. And yeah, you're right. Really, like the Varus has been really hard for her to deal with too, on top of that too. So, as she's going through here, is going to end up missing the shield, so that's going to be a lot of sustain that she's not going to have here. But yeah, you're right. Sivers, they want to as on the mid lane, we are going to get Evil Lobster hitting the ultimate onto the egg, popping it, trying to get it just as she comes up. Neversaw on a killing spree, and yes, this Aurora pick is paying absolute dividends here for the side here. We're going to get a Pantheon ult into the back here. Is going to try to get this Rel with the ultimate, trying to bring everybody in here, both hugging the turret down on the bot side here, clearing out the minions, and now that is going to be a 1 for 0, and it's about to be a 2 for 0 as they're chasing him down here, as Trix is caught up here, is going to try to get the kill, but just cannot get it, and now Kiwi Sim ends up paying for it as well, as Trix is ready for that, gets the double kill on the Sivir, a huge turnaround play after a failed dive attempt.
Yeah, Kiwi had a beautiful play at the start of that play. Cancels the Pantheon stun with the ulti. Such a micro tech, super instant cast, really difficult to do. Gives Brandyfan the time to space. The dive goes horribly wrong after that. Loki dies, they're 2 HP. But then DDG get greedy. They want to chase down the low HP bars. Don't have the vision in the bush, and they don't see that Trix is fed, and he has this item that makes him heal whenever he's low. Everyone knows it. Sundered Sky, the best item in the game, and he heals back to half HP and kills them both quite easily. And that's a huge play for Cupid, a huge win with the Drake after.
Yeah, and even though the dive didn't go well, you know, he had full Conqueror stacks too. So between the Sundered Sky and the full Conqueror stacks, he was healing more than they were dealing out damage. So unfortunate for DDG to kind of have that happen to them after executing, like you said, especially Kiwi Sim, almost perfect, you know, anti-dive where they just kind of had to give a kill over onto the Varus so that they didn't get wiped under there. But yeah, they just kind of going over as the top here as we're going to see this as it happens.
Beautiful cancel on that. Immediately lands the ulti and the knock up into it to deny the Pantheon stun, giving Brandyfan the chance to play this fight out. What movement. Really good from Kiwi.
Yeah, and one thing that we didn't really see in real time was the Brandyfan having because of that, having enough time to flash away from the Varus ultimate as well. As Alaskan Kodiak getting a kill on the top side there. We didn't even see that on the thing either. But yeah, so like between the Karma Shield and the Sundered Sky and the Conqueror, Trix just doing way too much damage for Brandy to be, or way too much healing for Brandy to do anything with that. And now the counter jungling is coming through from Trix. So Cupid, even though they're down 3-7, are taking what DDG is giving them and creating their own opportunities. As now Alaskan Kodiak is stuck in between here, but does have the cavalry coming to the backside, and both of them just decide to handshake and walk along.
A huge win right now for Trix, because I think he's picking up anything he can get, and he's definitely got to put the game on his back. He is the Fed Pantheon. He's got the gold right now. The only hope for Cupid, at least in the mid game, is going to be that Anivia slowly coming online, finally getting some items that actually matter, not just a tier.
We get a blast ultimate down by Kiwi Sim into the mid lane. Aztec is going to go down. Wukong ult coming out, Pantheon following, and the teleport coming in from Ambessa looking for the public execution is going to miss it. Wide south is now Wukong into the side here. Aurora's going to pop the ult. World Collide is going to hit, and now a couple flashes and the team fight kind of slows down really quickly as Loki Dosi comes in, does get the cleanup on the wave there, and at this whole time, Sivir, Brandyfan on this Sivir is getting a lot of pressure on the bot side, as now the Rift is going to end up going more than likely over to the side of DDG, as a little bit of a messy team fight from both teams there ends up being a 1 for 0 and a Rift on the backside, plus first turret, and that's Feats.
Yeah, that's Feats for DDG. This is the DDG special. One of the hardest things about playing DDG is the fact that they always seem to be winning across multiple points of the map. If you fight them mid, whether the fight's even, whether it's lost, whether it's won, they always seem to be getting something else while they do it. So it's always a give to take. And it seems like Esther knows exactly where to be. He's punishing Kostek every single time. This no flash Anivia is getting punished brutally for it, and it's so easy to do with the simple flash from Lobster or a never saw ulti, and all of a sudden this fight is so difficult for Kostek to play. As we see, if you notice, he's quite far up on the bot lane, and I'm concerned for his safety right now, as it seems like DDG also recognized he's probably up a bit far with no safety net.
Yeah, and Kostek realizes it too, and I think as soon as he saw the Aurora, he's like, oh no, but that is going to be able to use that flash on cooldown, it seems, to be able to get himself safe. as Sim trying to get a little bit of extra deep vision here as the dragon is coming up in 1 minute, but DDG trying to get the tempo plays after the fact, and I really love that from them, because you don't see a lot of teams always doing that. As now Neversaw getting so much damage, and on the backside here, Lokidosi and Athol trying to pressure Evil Lobster to get him off of this blue buff, as a little bit of a smite battle is going to go to the way of Evil Lobster. Decides to go in, does pop the clone into the Wukong ult onto the backside. Sim on top of Trix as well, not dying. Neversaw is going to pop the egg from the Anivia here, and now they're getting chased down through the jungle. They are going to pick up the Anivia kill as a couple flashes come out to get away from the Rel, but that is just a lockdown in the worlds between, and now that's 2 more for Evil Lobster on this Wukong, chasing down Loki, and is going to get a triple kill just 20 seconds before the dragon comes down, and DDG look poised to just snowball this game out of control.
A 4-for-0 in the bot side right before the Drake is not what you want to see. Cupid were relying on that soul stacking to kind of come back into this game, and with that nail in the coffin, it definitely is going to hurt their comeback chances. They definitely have some time to let Quaztech scale up, but I don't know if the side lane's going to get any better from this point on, and I don't think the Drake stacking is going to be there anymore for them either. At just 18 minutes, we've opened up an almost 9k gold lead on the side of DDG.
Yeah, they're just taking this one by storm, and there's, like you said, the Ambessa is probably going to fall off compared to the Renekton, and yes, you do have Anivia, but you also have Sivir on the other side, and once she gets her 3, maybe even 4 items, like, she's going to be so much damage just coming out, especially if she can get in there and get a couple ricochets off in between these team fights. So it's going to be a tall task for Cupid to try to hold on to this and play around Quaztech, and then try to get Lokidosi to get some good poke in there. But the later this game goes, the less damage that's really going to feel like, as the Wukong and the Renekton get a little bit beefier, and then of course alongside the Rel too.
Yeah, Neversaw's item spikes are huge right now. It's sitting on 2.5 items already. The upgraded boots completed compared to just the Rod of Ages and the tier on the side of Quaztech is not something you want to see. Everyone on DDG is super accelerated. We can see the Wukong is also a menace, sitting on 2 full items as well. Everyone on DDG seems to be up a full item, if not more expensive components by far, as we are getting near the IE for Sivir as well. So Brandy Fan will soon begin joining them on the I'm OP and I can do whatever I want train.
Yeah, and I really like this play by Sim as well, just getting a little bit of vision, just moving up that vision line slowly but surely, as now we're going to get a flash in from Sim on top of the Rel ult, and that's just going to be ult on top of ult, as Karma is going to go down. Double kill over for Neversaw here. Evil Lobster going to kill the Varus, and then Trix with really nothing that they can do, as Ambessa just sits at her tower and tries to recall in time to not get caught up by this as well. Another 4-for-0 quick fight for DDG, and they are at this point just smacking them around with their wallets.
Yeah, the fight is so explosive and it's so fast. A great engage, a great flash ulti from Mr. Kiwiism, and the fight's over so fast. Lobster follows up with his ulti. Nothing happens from Cupid. They can't get their footing. These fights need to play slow for Cupid. They gotta build this space. They gotta get there early and they gotta poke. But getting there early with 10k in the hole and no Otacon is going to be difficult for sure. The level leads are massive. Every single lane I think is up 2 levels right now, except for support. So we have a little bit of hope. Support's only up 1 level. But every lane here is dominating, sitting on top of a lot of XP, a lot of gold. What does Cupid need to do to come back in this game?
I mean, I think that their game plan is simple. You turtle and you don't give anything else up. They did give themselves a little bit of wiggle room by getting the first 2 dragons. It seemed like DDG were more than comfortable with that because they kind of felt like they were going to come online at this point. And I don't think that Cupid is going to be in a position to get another dragon in this game. So they did at least slow down the soul catch. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a turtle part. I don't think there's anybody on DDG that is going to make that really dumb mistake of just getting caught out for no reason. And the only one that potentially might do that is probably Sim, but they got 13 assists on this, and they've already completed, 1 item, upgraded boots, and now they're looking at, being tanky in their own right. So, like you said, with the level advantages, with everything else, it's going to be really hard for Cupid to kind of come back in this and do what they want. But They do need the turtle. They need to stop letting Kim just get into the, or Mr. Kiwi Sim into the back here, as Evil Lobster is once again going to do the same thing. The Zipper Op is going to be pulled as now Trix getting caught up, doesn't have the shield anymore, does want to go back in. Karma doing their stuff, and ooh, the Ambessa public execution misses, but the world between does not. Never saw jumps in, but he might have gone too far as Ambessa is going to pick up the kill. Fionn gets the shutdown on the Aurora and a little bit of over aggressiveness. Finally, Cupid get a breather as DDG just overstepped a little bit too much.
And that's exactly what you want to see. That's exactly the kind of plays you need from Cupid. The quick flash ulti from Loki locks Lobster up under the tower. He can't move. We get the root from Karma right after. He's stuck there. The fight is on their turf, under the tower, on their grounds, and they're able to space it, play it slowly. It's not flashy. It's not quick. It's just long enough to get something, and then Neversaw oversteps slightly with her ultimate and gets punished for it, and that's 1,000 gold in the pockets of the Cupid top laner. I bet that's going to be about where they have to play. I think all the plays have to revolve around this Ambessa. I don't think anywhere else is going to be winning on the map. This Ambessa's got to take the bull by the reins and really run with it. The plays have to be around them if they're going to get anything done. I really want to see this item spike from Varus as well. This Mirror Mana is almost finished, and if he can get that finished before a next fight, which is not looking like it.
Now it does, and as take two, we'll get back to that as take two comes through. The flash ult from Neversaw does sort of lock everybody in, but they do get the flash out as Cupid Gaming gets out by the skin of their teeth. The next dragon has spawned though, so I think they got exactly what they wanted. They just wanted to push them off, get the tempo, and then go and get this dragon. But yes, I agree with you. I think it is going to have to play around the Ambessa and the Pantheon too, or they're going to have people. They're going to have like a little bit of stack up and poke on the front side of these fights as it develops. But yes, they do need these fights to go long, and DDG want to get as many kills on the front line of these fights as they can before it has a chance to go.
Cupid's really doing something really smart here. They're foregoing their bot side, letting it all fall to the wayside just to get the punishment on the top side. Maybe a possible kill here onto Alaskan.
Yeah, he does end up popping the ultimate, but too much quick damage now as, yeah, Alaskan kind of falling off a little bit here. Did end up getting the 3v1. I don't know if he saw the Pantheon coming, but they saw him coming, and they had that ready to go from the point where Ambessa hit that turret. So I really like them playing around this. After you get that 1k gold, as you were saying, you get the shutdown, play around it, and Cupid does just that, and they're clawing themselves back into this game as it was 17-2 with a well over 10,000 gold lead. Now it's 17-5. Yes, they did lose another dragon, but now it's only, you know, what is that? 8k, 7.5k gold lead for the side of DDG. So it's also one of those things to note that this could just be the mental, just like a little bit of seed planted of doubt, you know, for the side of DDG that maybe they won't be able to get these plays that they were getting so easily earlier on.
I like that. I like that seed of doubt, and that's the seed is going to start growing. They are looking and they're feeling hungry. They got some shutdowns on top of their Ambessa, and they got another shutdown on top of that Renekton, and now they're looking for any sort of play that they can take, some sort of pick, some sort of gold ingestion that they can get and they can run with. I'm really happy to see that Cupid is still looking for these plays. They're still hungry. They're still aggressive with how they position. And they need to be. They have to get to these places first. They have to find these areas.
Walking up has the flash right away. And yeah, they are. Yeah, they're not just giving in. They're not just saying, okay, we'll go to game 2. They are doing exactly what we were talking about earlier, which is have that mental fortitude to be able to continue playing the game the way that you want to. They have a comp. They have to play to it. And then they start playing to it. They start getting a couple catches, and yes, now they're 100% back in here as Cupid is now going to have to kind of walk in blindly onto this Baron pit, and we'll see if they end up pulling the trigger back on top of them, and DDG just turns the tables and goes after them as Renekton and Ambessa both coming up as we might get this 5v5 as we do not have vision on the Baron. It is sitting at about 1/3 HP. It did just reset, and now we're going to see who wants to take the fight and who pulls the trigger first.
Yeah, this fight is going really, really, really sketchy for Cupid. They have to face check it. There's any sort of face check results in an explosive fight. That's not the fight they need to take. They want that slow burn, that slow poke. But they managed to pull DDG off the Baron. Threatening that 50-50 is not something DDG want to take right now with the gold lead they have. So just the presence of Cupid is enough to scare them away as they quickly reset for wards. And I almost have a feeling we're going to get right back to that Baron dance here in a second as both supports come back onto the map with a full set of wards ready to replay the Vision game.
Yeah, I do as well. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say another huge thing that happened there was when they tried to set up that little cheater brush over on top of the Raptors, where Quastech basically forced the flash out of Kiwi Sim. So like 100% just had to like wait now for that flash to be up, because that quick snap engage that they have with the Rel and the ultimate on the backside of that is no longer there.
Yeah, I'm especially excited that we can see that Quastech is actually on 2 item spikes, same with the Varus. These are the moments of these champions where they're going to be super strong. Even though they're down a full item, they're actually, well, basically champions now. They have the ability to play the game. They have the ability to deal that DPS that they need to deal to get through this front line. The goal for these fights is going to be, if DDG dive too deep, can that Anivia wall really zone them away? Can they stall it? Can they land the Varus ulti on top of as they face check a bush?
As we find out now, as Wukong does get into the back there, is going to hit up a 4-man ulti on top of Neversaw, just trying to get in, but just no kills just yet, as Public Execution is going to save the Varus on the backside here. He's going to be able to keep going. The Anivia wall is going to block them down, but the Rel with the ultimate pulling them in. Brandyfan on the backside doing a ton of damage, and then Renekton and Sivir both getting a kill for their troubles there, as the Death Brush play works in the red side jungle, where Cupid was trying to just sort of get a little bit of vision.
Yeah, Quastech did exactly what I was just talking about. A perfect wall on top of that. As soon as Evil Lobster dashes in, he walls off the rest of the team, and Evil Lobster's alone. He's got no friends, he's got no backup, and he gets burned down quickly. The fight is in favor of Cupid, and then they peel back onto Loki Dosi, get him out of the fight, but then they start feeling themselves a little bit too much, and they start dashing back in. As soon as they dash back in and Brandyfan catches up, that's a 3-item Sivir. That is not someone you want to be playing games with, and he quickly shows them why as he tears through the front line of Cupid.
Yeah, Brandyfan on the backside of the play between him and then Alaskan Kodiak on the Renekton, able to get that kill. And yeah, it did look like they almost perfectly kited that out. Anivia actually got 2 walls off that really made a huge difference to be able to just stop them from being able to do what they wanted. Yes, you did end up losing 2 on the backside, but you did get the kill on the jungle. You lost the dragon, unfortunately, and now you're sitting watching them on Soul Point. But yeah, Quastech's going to have to be able to throw an Anivia Q into that bush as well, because you can't just walk up and face check against this, because they have so much AoE lockdown. And then if Sivir was in range at the beginning of that fight, that could have gone really badly for Cupid. So they do need to be a little bit more careful, as now the dance for vision goes again. They are seen, though, as Evil Lobster goes right in, and they're just going to blow up tricks on this Pantheon here, as Quastech is going to flash over their own wall. 3 flashes to follow as the chase is on DDG, trying to pop this egg, but the Karma Shields are saying no. Finally get it, is now Alaskan Kodiak flanking him from the south side of the mid lane here, is going to push off Ace on the Karma, and Loki is going to have to just sit there, and Ambessa retreating back to the bot lane. This is going to be a Baron play for DDG, collecting their vision reward with that.
Yeah, this is the DDG special. This is what they've done all season and why they've won almost every single series they've been a part of. They are monstrous when it comes to vision objective control, and they play it perfectly. Cupid has to check. They don't have the blue trinkets. They don't want to burn the blue trinkets. They get a little bit too close, and as soon as they get a little bit too close, DDG pounce, and the fight is quick, and it is over fast. They immediately burn multiple ultimates onto the jungler, and as soon as that jungler is down, whether they get the extra kills or not, they've done what they wanted. They take that Baron for free, and that's going to be a huge Baron power play. Back up 10k, 11k over Cupid right now.
Yeah, and that whole play started because they had that one vision ward sitting on the north side of the red, right under the tier 2 tower. It's actually still there on the minimap. Just saw Cupid coming through. They saw that it was only 2 members, so they felt extremely confident to be able to go in there and make that play. And Evil Lobster and Mr. Kiwiism are just a tandem that has just been catching Cupid out so much this game 1, as now they're looking to dive Fionn on the top side, or at least take this. They do get the turret, they do push off and using these Baron empowered minions to just kind of siege up now with the 1-3-1 or the 3-1-1 as Cupid looking for any way that they can to just wave clear as much as they can. But the red tier 3 turret on the bot lane now gone as Trix is trying to do their best for the mid play. Might end up seeing a big fight here coming out from Cupid if they can catch anybody, but they're looking to pounce, but the waves are just slowly crashing in here, and it is nice to see a good, well-executed siege from DDG.
Yeah, I love the way DDG are playing this. They're so far ahead, no one can contest really any lane, so they're just playing on every single lane, and they're letting the Baron do all their work. They're not over-foresting it, they're not getting greedy, they're not saying, hey, we're ahead, let's just dive them. They're just playing the game slow, steady, and controlled, and it is hard, so hard for Cupid to find something. I really want to see Cupid just throw the book at the wall and just overload one side and fully send it. I think you're running out of time to play this game, and you have to... Oh, as the ulti lands on the...
Yeah, he does end up getting it. Never saw it get a little back there. Well, they took the page out of your book.
Yeah, they did a great job. Loki's on the same page as me, it seems. He immediately throws it all, looks for that 1k shutdown, or however much gold it is at this point. That high gold shutdown onto the enemy mid laner. Never saw, able to barely make it out of there, and just TP's right back, and the pressure does not yield. And now they don't have that Varus ulti tool. So now they want to play this slow. They want to wait for it as an ulti goes on to Neversaw.
Yeah, the public execution does end up hitting. She knows that she doesn't have her own ultimate as the heal's going to come out from Karma for the extra move speed, and now they're caught. DDG on the retreat here. Ambessa is trying to chase down here. They do end up losing the second inhibitor and one of their Nexus turrets during that siege. So one inhibitor left as DDG trying to tuck a tail and run, but now you're 20 seconds away from the dragon. A terrible time for Neversaw to get caught out as there's a 40-second death timer and not a lot for them to do. They are going to try to kind of cheese this and catch them out here, but they did get spotted out by a ward, and Cupid is closing in now. The Nivea wall is going to stop over here. Trixie coming in, does get the stun down, but not a lot of follow-up. Kiwiism is going to flash, get the Rel ult onto the backside here, but there's no damage to follow-up as now Evil Lobster and Brandy Fan are going to have to back off as Alaskan Kodiak is going to have to do everything he can to get out of here. Pantheon ult is going to come through, and now that is more than likely going to be a dragon for the side of Cupid, and after one bad play, they are getting themselves back into this game now as Evil Lobster trying to come around here. They are doing their best to try to get in here. He does flash over to the wall, but he misses the 50-50. He is going to Wukong ultimate on the backside there, but he is not going to get anything for his troubles as Alaskan decides to teleport up to the top, up to the tier 3 bot lane, but he's caught out by Quaztech now, and now he's going to have to get away from all 5 of these members. I don't know if he's a dancer, but I guess we're going to see how fancy his feet are as he does get on top of Aethel, but goes down. A shutdown to Loki Dosi. Cupid back in this game doing the turtle.
What are we doing? DDG seems to lose the Neversaw. They get every single tower, and then they just really do not want to give up this Drake. They force the play. They look for this sneaky turnaround, and a beautiful ward catches all of them, and their sneaky plays out. And the next thing you know, it's an easy collapse from Cupid, and they punish so hard. Ow! That is a tough face check, and back to base, I think, for Trix.
Trix. Not for kids anymore.
No.
Not work out well for him at all. Yeah, that's going to be a very dangerous. You know, she Neversaw did end up being kind of like the conduit for that like long misplay after like an almost perfect siege. But yes, we do see this now. They are at 4.5 items. The Seeker's Arm Guard probably sitting there waiting to spend their money on the Zonies after the next fight as the Baron's about to come up here. But yes, Neversaw on this Aurora does so much damage. And I don't think there's anybody really on the side of Cupid that's going to be able to take that if they walk into a brush, as they are trying to get them out here. Neversaw does get poked out about a quarter of their health from one Varus arrow. So
I'm excited. I think Loki Doki has to be the one to really take over these fights. I think he's got to be the one to land this poke, this meaningful kind of chip damage before the fight starts, and then it's got to be a peel back for him. It's got to be Quaztech really creating that space, really giving them the opportunity to play this game. as DDG look like they're about to rip the Baron off his spawn, play off that vision, and I don't think Cupid are going to come contest it. I think Cupid say, hey, we've turtled well enough. We're going to turtle some more, and we're gonna give this Baron to them, and we're going to survive it, and we're going to play off of that. And I think right now they're hitting huge item spikes. I think they're waiting on that Anivia as it comes in, the Anivia death cap immediately, and I think they did a great job with it. And I think it's going to be up to Quaztec to kind of hold the line here. He does so much damage with that build. If he can just survive, if Loki can just survive, they can land so much damage over time. But the real question is, can DDG get in and really disrupt those carries in the backline? Knock them up, get them out of the fight so quickly that they just don't have the time to deal this long-range poke damage, that slow burn damage from Anivia. I really want to see DDG play the map, spread them out, make it impossible for them to turtle, just like they're doing right now, as another inhibitor falls at the bot side.
Yeah, they are playing it very well, but the other thing that DDG has to be wary of is there is a quick jump on here. They can get a public execution of from the Ambessa and close the gap on Neversaw and kill them again. And if that happens, we saw what happened last time, where your main burst damage just dies off. So they did do the right thing. They took the bottom tier 3 first. They're going to wait for this mid tier 3 to spawn, and I think we're going to see that final kind of push, and then the desperation play from Cupid, and then it's going to be almost like a 50-50 on the backside of that. Who ends up winning this? And if it's Cupid, that could be a huge turnaround, monumental comeback for them, as the top tier 3 is about to go down. The second Nexus turret did end up respawning now, as Loki Dosi, looking for an ultimate, does end up hitting it onto Neversaw. Is going to go golden here, as the Zipper ult coming to the backside of here. Laskin Kodiak a little bit too far, and they just don't seem like they have the poke, as now they don't need it. Zevalopter goes in, is going to pop the ultimate. Public execution is going to get cut off halfway, and that is a dead Ambessa and a dead egg. Yep. Okay, so Anivia falls down on the backside of that too. Neversaw is down, but they do still have Kiwiism and Kodiak to kind of fight this one out and protect Granny Fan on the back of the Zibber, and that is going to be game 1 going over to the side of Drop Dead Gaming.
Yeah, an excellent game from DropDeadGaming from start to finish. They took that early lead, and they did exactly what DropDeadGaming have been known to do. They choked them out of every single objective. They made Cupid make mistakes. It was forced. It was designed. It was from the playbook. There was nothing that Cupid could do, and it felt like they were just suffocating, slowly getting choked out. And every single mistake they made just compounded and compounded, and they grew this massive gold lead within 15 minutes. And props to Cupid for really sticking in there and fighting back as much as they did.
Yeah, no, 100%. They were basically dead in the water, and they did exactly what they needed to do. They got the one pick that they wanted. They elongated the game. In the end, they elongated the game like an extra 15 minutes because we waited another Baron, a dragon, so there wasn't a soul point given over. But no, they did really well playing into their comp. The unfortunate part is that they kind of fell too far behind in the beginning, and then the disparity in damage on this mid lane, 39.2 to 9.2. That's a 30k damage disparity. Maybe something like a LeBlanc, or maybe something that would have been able to burst down, because neither of these teams really had a true 100% tank to really deal with. So I don't know, the Anivia, very good control, but it just didn't work out too well in this game.
Yeah, my concerns about that Anivia pick seem to came right to fruition. It just doesn't seem like it synergizes with the rest of the team. It wants to play so slowly, whereas we have an Ambessa, we have a Pantheon, we have this great damage output on single target, and we have this great opportunity to play the game kind of quickly, quick burst kind of champions. But then we lock in this Anivia, now the game all changes. It's all about the Anivia. It's got to be about Quaztec. And I think Lobster did a great job identifying that and punished it repeatedly. Got the flash, revisited the lane repeatedly, denying Quaztec the ability to play the game at all, and just suffocated out Cupid from ever getting a gold lead in that mid lane. Came online so late that it was by the time Quaztec had 3 items, it was what, a 10k 12k gold lead for DDG already.
Yeah, 4.5 Aurora, just deleting a Rod of Ages. Yeah, so it always feels good when you call something out in the draft, and then it ends up coming to fruition in the game. But we'll see if you're going to be able to do it 2 games in a row, as we're going to take a quick break. Game 2 coming up. Don't go anywhere.
on the fire, sticky.
All right, welcome everybody back to the Titan Esports Immortal Grand Finals between DropDeadGaming and Cupid Esports. And if you missed game one, you missed DDG basically canvassing the entire map like they normally do and choking out the life of Cupid, but Cupid fighting back slowly. JJ, you seemed like it was kind of par for the course for DDG.
Yeah, this is the DDG Classic, and honestly, I think one of the biggest things about DDG is their mid to late game is so clean. If you give them that early lead, you're not gonna take it back. I think the biggest thing for Cupid is they gotta step up that early game, get something done. Trix made a great play in the top side, and that was a great start, but they can't throw it all away at the Grubs, and they gotta hold on to that lead if they want a chance at taking down DDG.
Yeah, and it kind of looked like after that play, they were poised to make a second really strong play too. You know, like Aethel coming over on the Karma, giving that little backup, and they get the second, scuttle instead of giving them both away. So it did kind of seem like everything was going their way, with the exception of Quastek on the Anivia, right? Like, I think that's kind of like the pressure point of that first game, right? Like the Anivia, as you said prior to the game, doesn't really work out with the comp kind of the way that, we would think it would, the Poke Varus and the Ambessa, and then you have this. There were a lot of times where Anivia kind of saved the day, great use of the walls to lockdown never saw, or save their teammates on the back end, but it just didn't feel like it did enough. If you are Cupid, what are you putting Quastek on in game two to sort of give them a bounce back performance?
I'd like to see Quastek and the whole team on something more urgency, something more playmaking, something that can do a lot more. I did not like the Anivia pick to begin with. I've never seen Quastek play, but Quastek plays almost everything, so it's tough to call. And I think the biggest thing about them is they need to get something where they can actually grow this lead. Quastek asked me before the game because what's the secret to beating DDG? And I told him you need hard engage. You gotta be able to pull these triggers, and we saw it on the top side. That Varus ulti punished again later with the Ambessa ulti. And it was a great win for them. And I want to see more of that. I want to see more of that snap decision making from them, something that gives them the ability to immediately punish those aggressive plays from DDG. Get them out of their cubbies, get them out of their zoning, their little foxholes that they like to sit in, and get them moving and punish those aggressive looks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would have told him, go watch your matches from the season. You did it early. But yeah, no, I 100% agree. And I think that DDG also did a great job of prioritizing what they wanted to, right? Like they gave away the first two dragons, knowing that they were going to be poised with a mid-game power spike, that they were going to be able to take the third and probably the fourth afterwards. So they opt for the Grubs, they opt for the Rift Herald. And then, like you said, they just take their vision line, they move it into the jungle, they just choke all the resources away from Cupid, and then make them come to them, right? Like there was blue wards, but they were almost never there because as soon as Cupid was putting them down, they were putting them down on top of people, and then next thing you know, you have to face check. So I guess my other question, as we're about to get into the draft here, is DDG. What do they want to do game two? Do they want to have the same kind of style, or do you think they flip it up to throw Cupid off? As we do see the Cupid opted into the blue side this time.
I think it is going to be the exact same style from DDG. I think they have a set style that they like to play, and I think they're very solid at that. At that style. I think they're going to pick something. It's going to be a strong jungler that Lobster likes to play. Honestly, I expect the Trundle pick. I think Lobster is a token Trundle player, and I think he loves the Trundle. Throws a wrench in the other team's comp. It's tough to pick that tank, that front line that you need, and it makes the game a little bit tricky to play. I think we're going to see that from Lobster if he's given the chance. I think he's going to draft something that's aggressive but strong, and we're going to have the almost exact same comp of Neversaw on a control mage and Brandyfan on a nice hyper carry.
Okay, well, it won't be a Jinx here as we get into the bans. We get the Caitlyn, the Syndra, and the Jinx out of Cupid, and DDG opting for the same ones, the Jarvan, the Orianna, and the Sion. So no changes on the DDG side. We do have the Jinx ban coming out from the side of Cupid. That is a slight change here. And then B1, their prio here, jungle. Xin Zhao.
It's got to be...
Wait, ooh,
oh, wait.
So that's a good flex here, right? I expect to see it either in Quastek or Loki's hand here. You are going to give yourself a little bit of flexibility on picking that. Obviously, DDG expected to be in the mid lane, so the Victor is the answer there.
Yeah, Quaztec is a known good wave player. He's really consistent on it. He likes to have that stability, and TDG wastes no time grabbing the exact hyper damage, the strong zoning control mage mid, and the hyper damage hyper carry for Branny Fan. They're going to be sitting here very happy with the start of this draft as we see a Skarner come out from Trix. Not a usual pick for Trix, I don't think. Not an uncommon pick, but not one of his game 2 picks, I'd say.
Yeah, no, so that's interesting. So now you have the artillery from the Hui, the wave clear, basically kind of opposite of what he did game 1, and then Tricks instead of the Pantheon, instead of the quick dash, and then once your shield is down, if you've overstepped, you're dead, or if you kind of go as the Trundle does come out for Evil Lobster, so you called that one, especially into a Skarner, right? Like you kind of have to take that.
Yeah, a perfect pick. Honestly, I think it's a strange mistake, I'd say, from Cupid to draft the Skarner but leave open the Trundle. I think it's a great pick into Skarner. Can stop your immediate dash. It's going to feel very difficult for Trix to get around the map and make impact with Skarner being able to shred his armor and MR and also deny his dash. How are you going to slam people into walls if you can't move?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite buffers on Trundle, right? Is that ice pillar into somebody that goes through walls. Like you could kind of you can stop Kane with it, you can stop Skarner with it because it's a new piece, so it stops them where they're at. So I'm interested to see the fun interactive plays that we're going to get between these now, especially with the Trundle into the Skarner as the final round of bans come out. The Ezreal and the Tristana coming out from DDG don't want to see that on the side of Cupid, and then they don't want to see a little bit of Lulu and then an Ornn, so they want to try to minimize the amount of agency that Branny Fan's going to be getting on this Yunara, as the Ashe is the answer. We'll see what they pair it with.
A classic pick for Loki Dosi and a great pick into Yunara, an excellent counter. Everyone that I talked to, especially the GM, seemed to really prefer Ashe into this Yunara. With the Alistar coming out, I like the Alistar pick. I'm a little bit concerned about her though. Without that ulti, you're going to be paper thin, and into Cassante, it's going to be extremely difficult as the Bard comes out to round out the comp, punishing the 2 immobile carries of DDG. I love that Bard pick from Mr. Kiwiism.
Oh, so do I. And like, this is one of those things, like, now you're picking Alistar once again into, I mean, last time it was the Karma into the Rel, so, you had that advantage there, and we saw how that bot lane went. And so now we're going to see Aethel and Loki on the backside of that. Yes, you have Ashe as a huge level 2 power spike, and then after that, you do have a very... a pretty mobile ADC for Branny Fan with the Yunara, but the amount of slows that can come out of Ashe alongside of the double, the knock up and then the stun on the backside for Aethel on this Alistar. But yes, you are right. You do have a tendency to be able to overcommit yourself when you're playing this Alistar. And if you don't have the ultimate as a support, you're just not going to have the items to be as tanky. So game 2, what do we got, JJ?
I gotta give it again to DDG. I think their comp is so much easier to play. I think the issue with Cupid's comp that I'm not a huge fan of is the Jace top lane. I'm not sure what it's going to accomplish in this game. They have strong frontline that can keep the Jace kind of at bay, tank the shot blast, not really care. And as they set up for this cheeky kind of level 1 invade to get early vision and a free mana flow, so definitely a win.
That was good.
I think it's going to be difficult for Skarner to play the game. I think he's going to struggle to get what he needs to get done. And I'm not sure that the Cupid carries can shred that Cassante faster than Neversaw and Branny Fan can shred the Skarner and the Alistar. And I think the front to back is going to be very difficult for them.
Yeah, and I think as you get into these, like, if Kiwiism is allowed to, kind of set up these plays a little bit, you're going to be able to get the little Bard cups everywhere. And so, yeah, you're going to have the Cassante on top of the extra passive healing, basically, from Bard is sitting there. So they're going to have a hard time dealing with this. Jace is opting to go into the grasp, so is going to want some of these pokes and extended fights in the laning phase to try to just scale up alongside the Cassante. But yes, it is always really hard, as now we're getting a nice little fight over in the bot side. Kiwiism does walk up a little bit too far. The heal is pushed out here, has a lot of damage going on to the Bard here from Loki Dosi and Aethel, so they do get a little bit of a win from that. And then Alistar, one of the things that I always forget about him is his sustain, right? Like every 7 minions died, you get a nice decent heal. After a couple levels, it actually is a really strong heal. So interested to see how this goes. Kiwiism's gonna have to expend mana to pop those down, as he does 2 right away. But yes, the bot lane does hit level 2. Kiwiism and Brandyfan are going to get their first real tempo priority up against DDG for this, up against Cupid for this game 2.
Yeah, both junglers moving towards the bot side. They're doing a fantastic job just full clearing, like every jungler ever does in this league. As we see aggressive trading, that's exactly what you want to see from Loki. Use the power, the early strong power of this Ashe to help put the pressure on top of them, as we see Lobster doing a patented Lobster thing, which is the early cheese invades.
Ooh, and it's working out. He does end up getting the chomp on there, does put the pillar down, forces the flash out of Tricks. Doesn't look there's going to be much follow-up, as now Jace is going to end up making Alaskan miss, but he is not going to take a turret shot. But this does not look good for Fionn, as he's going to get flashed and then solo kill going over to the Cassante. This is not what you want if you are Cupid. Alaskan on a huge scaling tank like Cassante. Do not want to see that level 3 as the first death.
We talked about it before the start of the cast. I thought the top lane might be the underperforming factor for both these teams, but it looks like it's Alaskan Kodak's day. He is just showing up, and he is making himself known. He has been a huge difference maker in these early games, really driving the fact that he's just a better top laner, and he's just winning these 1v1s, getting the picks that he wants into him, and then punishing them. He's starting to make it seem like you just can't blind pick into him. As we see, Lobster gets off a successful invade, and Trix has to go to his top side to counteract it.
Yeah, and I love that from them too. Like, they know as Trix is going to try to make another play over here on top of Eversaw. Does end up stopping himself, but is going for the shove here. Is going to land it. Neversaw locked up. May try to flash. Does flash. Gets out of it as Quastek is running out of mana. Will not be able to follow up on the bot side. Kiwiism is kind of caught out a little bit here, but the flash forward from Evil Lobster and the Trundle Pillar is going here the kill. That's 2. Now Aethel is going to try to flash away, get out of here, escape with just... Oh, and there's left a flash from Kiwi. He ends up locking up 2 minions instead of the Alistar, so Aethel is going to get away by the skin of their teeth, and it is now 2-0 for DDG, and they're just winning all over this map.
Yeah, it's a DDG day, I guess, and they are just cleaning house. It is brutal to be a Cupid fan right now, as the entire map just seems to fall apart so quickly. We started with a good, strong top laner getting solo killed, and then the bot lane gets aggressive when they know the jungle's most likely still bot side, because he went for that invade and has not cleared his bot side. So knowing the caliber of these teams, they know he's bot side. So I'm very surprised to see them go for something aggressive into the river, with Evil Lobster being so close. I really want to see the bot lane of Cupid rotate for these grubs and get an early swap into them, as we see DDG doing already.
Instead it's going to be DDG. He is going to get the slow onto the Jace, but I don't know if there's any way that Brandyfan can get back in here. He's going to trade back a little bit. Is going to have to basically concede this lane now, as DDG is poised to potentially set up an early dive onto Fionn if they can get just a little bit more poke, as we now see Bard trying to set up. They're off of vision, and it looks like Evil Lobster is doing just that, kind of going over to the top side here, and they're going to look for a play. At the same time, if this doesn't work, Cupid is potentially going to get a free dragon out of this.
Yeah, I'm really worried about Cupid for this play. He has got to bail on this top side, which he luckily places the ward. He knows that Lobster is here, and he might be able to make it out as he's slowly getting slowed by that pillar.
Yeah, as Kiwiism does end up getting his Unsealed Spellbook to try to get the heal for the extra move speed, but Evil Lobster, just not enough damage. All he has on there is the Sheen, so they are going to get a little bit of turret plating down here, as now Quastek and Aethel coming up to try to get this. Does end up missing the Fear, so that's going to be a dead play, but he is going to be able to pick up the backside of this, as the tower second plate does end up going over to DDG, so they will both get that. Brandyfan and Evil Lobster cashing in on 2 plates on the top side here, but Cupid getting the first dragon, and just like game 1, DDG not concerned with the first 2 dragons, or at least the first one this time.
Yeah, it was a great play from Cupid, a very well practiced and set up play. They were very early to the swaps. It's one of the DDG specials that we see almost every single game. They tend to swap up to this play, whether it's just a support or it's full lane swap, and they always play for these grubs in the early game. I liked exactly how they set it up, and they immediately go for the punish on the dive. It was a great ward from Fjorn. Lloyd, I hope I said that right. Very good award from him, keeping him safe and barely able to escape the evil lobster running him down with that pillar. I want to know what Trix plans to get done on this Skarner. Right now, it seems like he's comfortable just farming to 6 and looking for this first fight. I wonder if he's going to choose to rip it and burn that first ulti on top of these grubs as DDG reset, and now they'll be a little bit late on this top push for this prio on these grubs. This camp should give Trix level 6 here too as well.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to see, I think, a good fight over here. They did get the early thing, but, as we were saying prior to that play, you are giving up the dragon for this if this doesn't go. And yeah, 5 on, perfect ward to spot it out. And Trix now on vision, but does want to see if he can take these grubs and at least stop them from getting both. But now Kiwiism and Evil Lobster are eyeing Loki Dosi in the top lane here as they're going to try to take the magical journey. They do not. He does set it up almost perfectly there, but just not enough time there as Quastek and Trix are trying to get this. They do end up getting the second grub. They're going to have to concede the third one. It's a little fancy inside the walls there, so good job escaping out of there. But now Aethel's sitting on top of a ward, and the fight is going to break out. The Ash Enchanted Crystal Hour does come out on the bottom side. Quastek does get stuck in between here as we see Evil Lobster does end up falling down to Loki Dosi. That was a good ultimate from Trix, but now the chase is on. Granny Fan and Kiwiism trying to chase down Loki Dosi here. The barrier comes out, but it's not enough. Does get the kill here, is now Alaskan Kodiak on the Cassandra on the backside here, and this may end up being another dive. Trix trying to do what he can as the teleport's going to come out from 5 on. The Jace is going to show up, but is it going to be enough to be able to get a kill onto the backside of this? Doesn't look like it. Trix is going to be able to get out, and DDG lose the 2 grubs, get the 1 so they don't lose all 3, and then get a 3 for 1 on the backside of that grub play.
Another beautiful grub fight from DDG. I loved their setup for it. They were late to the objective, but you see that Cupid commits the cardinal sin of objective control. They don't have their bot lane push out the top lane first, so you see Trix start the objective, and then you see DDG answer that top wave push. They don't let him get all the way through, as we'll see right here. Oh, this is the back half of the fight where we see Quastek flash ulti in, but Brandyfan actually blocks it, saving his jungler's life for a lot longer, giving Evil Lobster a lot longer to live. If Cupid had gotten that, if Quastek had gotten that off, he could have had a much faster death and maybe a slightly easier fight here. As we see a nice engage and a nice flash from Brandyfan escaping that headbutt pulverize, and it's an easy cleanup. I would have loved to see 5 on TP top at any point during that fight. He saved it, and he ends up burning it at the end, and doesn't really get much in return for it. There was no reward for that. As we see an ulti go ride from Loki Dosi, and a little bit of trading in the bottom.
Yeah, they are going to turn this down as well. The Bard ultimate is going to save Brandyfan, and now buying just enough time for Evil Lobster to come down here. The ultimates both burn from these ADCs, but they do seem like they still want to fight now as Evil Lobster ends up going back into his jungle here, and Trix on this Skarner does look like he's trying to sneak his way in here and bait them out into a bad chase. But I think that DDG has kind of given up on this play and they just want to turtle under their turret.
I wonder if the dive's going to come through here. They have the setup, but Lobster is nearby, and it's a quite scary dive. They'd have to go quick as it looks like they're going to play it slow, see Lobster, and I think that's going to be all she wrote for this play as they slowly kind of peel their way out, costing Brandyfan a wave, though, so still well worth the time investment as Trix still hovering around, looking for something.
Yeah, it looks like they don't want to give up on this, and neither does Evil Lobsters. Victor is now coming over. Never saw coming over, trying to get vision on this. They do see Aethel sitting there. They did not see Trix, but they don't want to just give up on this dive, and neither does DDG now, as we're going to get another Hextech Flash coming over as he comes in, and that's just going to be a clean dive. The exhaust coming out, but it's not going to be enough. Kiwiism gets the kill onto the Bard, and that is a dead Branny, dead Bard, and Cupid poised to take the second dragon and get themselves the feat of monster slaying.
I love that play from Cupid. Very patient. They see Evil Lobster backing on a ward, and they just wait him out. He cancels it once, cancels it twice, I think, and they're still patient. They're just waiting. They know that their bot lane has to back in sync with that jungler, and if they don't, they're going to punish it, and they do. They have a great dive and a great Drake take afterward, grabbing another lead for Lokidosi. This is what I want to see. Look at Lokidosi's gold lead, 1k up already in this early game, even after that early game death. He's really coming online, and that's the powerhouse of this team. A slight gold lead for mid, but nothing to write home about, and I think Loki's going to be poised to take over this game.
Yeah, as we do see Quastek getting caught out on the quay. He's going to get Trundle Pillar. Going to try to return as much damage as they can, but Kiwiism with a perfect Bard ult to just lock him down and then chain CC. On top of that, Quastek didn't even have a prayer for that one, as now Kiwiism getting a little bit of deep vision here. And at the same time, Evil Lobster is actually trying to steal this blue buff over from Trix. It is going to be a little bit of a smite battle here. Evil Lobster stepping up into the face of him, ready to take this fight, as now they are starting to come through. The Magical Journey is going to come across. He is going to get the stun onto the Skarner here. There's not much that Trix and 5on can do here. Meanwhile, Alistar in the mid lane going towards the bot, and that's what's going to happen when your mid lane gets caught out and you're able to just shove the waves. You can basically do whatever you want in the enemy's jungle, and that's exactly what DDG did there.
Yeah, I teased Lobster a little bit before the series, and I pointed out the stats for Immortal, saying that he's known for being this cheeky player coming in for those level 1 evades, just like he did where he level 3 right into that red buff and stole that red buff. And I pointed out he was not at the top of the stolen buffs list, and I asked him what's happening. Why isn't he going for it? I guess he heard me, because this game, he's all about those buffs, and he's walking in and he's taking them every chance he can.
Yeah, we see a huge, well, not a huge, but we do see a 10-11 CS lead for the Trundle. They both have the same kill participation, but Trundle did end up getting one of the kills, so he is a little bit ahead of here. And the one sad part about going into a Trundle as a tank is the tankier you get, the better he gets on the back end of these fights, and the later this game goes. So this will be an interesting dynamic between these two, as both of these junglers are very strong, but Trundle has the potential to turn a lot of these skirmishes his way. I do think that Skarner's going to have the 5v5, especially if he can get a 3-man ult, but, you know, we'll end up seeing that. But yeah, Evil Lobster doing a great job of controlling the pace of this game, getting off the invades when he wants, and they're coming off the backs of the plays of his teammates, where they're able to kind of get kills and then transition it. So I love to see tempo transition from one play to another, and that's exactly what DDG are doing here, as Lokidosi and Aethel are trying to push this advantage that they have on the bot side into a turret kill, but oh, Lokidosi does end up getting caught out. Ultimate's coming out from Branny Fan, and Kiwiism does lock down the Alistar. Aethel running for their lives now as they're trying to chase him down. A little bit of slows. 5on is here waiting in the brushes, and a little bit of a catch up here as Aethel goes back in, does get the double knockup. The ultimate is going to land on Alaskan Kodiak, but is he tanky enough to get out of this? The slows coming down. He is going to fall. His Trix is going to pick up the kill on the Cassante, and Kiwiism a little bit too slow, does not get away. That's a turret and 2 kills for the side of Cupid, as they are turning this game and they are showing that they have a lot of fight left in the tank.
It was close on the announcements there, but it looks like actually DDG get that top turret first, barely ahead of them, claiming that objective feat and claim the feats of I don't know what the tower one is. He claims the feats, gets the upgraded boots, and they're all set for that. They're very happy, but a great play from Cupid, evening out the gold lead and making a great punish, playing with that strong AD. I love to see this from Cupid. They have a very strong point on their team, and it is Lokidosi, whereas DDG have a very strong point on their team, and that's Neversaw, and they are playing right around those strong points. This Quastek seems to be overextended. He likes to push these waves without teams, and it looks like it's going to happen again.
Yeah, as he's getting corralled up here on the top side, Kiwiism and Kodiak, along with Lobster, the Trundle Pillar will end up coming out. All they have to do is touch him for the kill, which they do get. The ultimate is going to come out from Alaskan Kodiak, tying down Quastek on the top side, of free kill. Now Aethel in the mid lane looks like he's kind of caught, but Neversaw is now the one that's getting caught as 5on, and Trix come through. The the Bard ultimate is not going to be enough to save him. It's a little bit too late, and now Neversaw in the mid lane gives a kill over to 5on. So now that's a lot of gold into the pocket of the Jace. You never like to see that. At the same time, Loki also ended up dying, I think, at the beginning part of that play in the mid lane, and that is why Aethel was kind of stuck out there. But a good job by Cupid coming in and salvaging that play after their ADC goes down.
Yeah, it looks like it was a flash play from Neversaw mid onto the Loki Dosi, punishing him for his aggressive posturing, and then not having that flash, getting punished back and losing. As we're going to get a replay of this, hopefully, and we'll see exactly what happens. A nice slow into the slow, and a flash from Neversaw gets the kill onto Loki, but now is out of abilities, out of movement, and immediately gets punished by the Skarner. Thought I went to Jace. Was punished by the Skarner, putting some gold onto them, and that's actually a very tanky boy. That Skarner is quite fed. As this fight breaks out for Dragon.
Yes, he is, and as you say it, yeah, the Dragon comes down. Alaskan Kodiak trying to provide a front line here. Aethel trying to get into the back line, trying to get a little bit of knockups here as Evil Lobster is staying on the Dragon while Alaskan Kodiak just getting stunned after stun. Does end up taking the magical journey out of there, but now Evil Lobster on the backside of this Dragon Pit is going to have to flash away and try to walk away the other side. Quastek and 5on on the top side will end up getting the kill onto the Trundle as Alaskan Kodiak getting into the Dragon Pit against Loki Dosi is trying to push through. The shields are enough to save him. His Kiwiism is going to pick that up, and now Quastek with almost no health is going to barely get out of here. Does try his best to get out of there, but that's going to be a dead way, a dead Skarner on the backside of this play that they started. The DDG end up getting the 5 for 2 and eventually the Dragon at the backside.
Someone save my boy Loki Dosi. He is gliding in that pit. That movement was insane. He was putting on a show, tap dancing his way across the rift in that Dragon Pit, and no one was there to help him. They couldn't get into that pit to save him, as he's putting on a performance with that gold. As we play this back, I want to focus on look at this Ashe moves forward, immediately starts DPSing. He's stuck in the pit, starts fighting on this right side as his whole team moves to the left, and look at him. He's just kiting these three, kiting out, doing as much damage as he can, gliding across them as he's slowed and beaten down. I think that was such a missed opportunity for Cupid. They all turn on the left, but the flashless Loki's stuck in the pit, and he's got nowhere to go. He can't rejoin the team. I really liked Cupid's aggression, though. They had a great posturing for this fight. They had a great setup. They played the fight really well. Just that last split, once all the flashes were burned, once that initial start was made, they just couldn't make it as Quastek again caught on a side wave.
Yeah, he is, and he's going to go down to Neversaw, and they're trying to chase down Trix, but he buffers the Trundle Pillar to get his own, journey in through the Trundle Pillar as Aethel is forced to blow his ultimate as well, and now Alaskan and 5on on the bot side are just going to kind of trade here, but it does look like it's going to be Otacon going to the way of DDG. Cupid just never seemed to be at the same place at the same time, whereas DDG are making these plays together and not necessarily deathballing this game, but they are always together, at least 2 or 3, and it's the Kiwiism Evil Lobster duo again that is kind of forcing all these plays, catching out Quastek, kind of separating the damage dealers from Cupid in that Dragon fight. So as well as Cupid's individual players are playing in these team fights, they're not doing very well in the macro side, and Quastek caught out on that top side again with not enough vision to see the Bard coming, and now they're going to do their best to try to catch out Branny on the bot side. He is over on top of a ward. Quastek is trying to get there. 5on, this is a 5-man chase for this Yunara as everything from Quastek is missing, but they are finally going to close the gap here in Loki. If they try to give that over, no. 5on is going to collect the kill onto the Yunara, but prior to that, they lose Otacon, they lose the Rift Herald, and then on the backside of that play, they do lose the mid-tier 1. So DDG, even though Yunara did end up getting kind of caught out there, still get something for their troubles on the backside.
DDG is a very skilled team at always punishing that map, and they do just that. As soon as we get a pick in the top side, Brandy Fan overstays, they just take a mid tower, they move up, they defend their top tower, and it's just a positive trade for DDG. As right now, no one is answering Alaskan Kodak in the bot lane, and he is just getting free hits on this tower, taking it from basically full to nothing while also getting the waves. So a still huge win for Cupid, as this net play is just down a tower, up 1 kill, and down Otagon. It's just a net loss for Cupid, and luckily, the gold lead has not exploded like it did last game. We aren't looking at an 8k gold lead at 15. It's barely over 2k. So the game is still relatively close. We can still have some tough, close fights here. I really want to see this team play through Loki. I feel like we're putting him on an island a little bit too much. Quastek's pushing those side waves a little bit too much. I want to see them play around this Ashe, look for these picks. That's how they're going to find their way into this game. They haven't been able to utilize that Ashe R to really achieve anything. That Crystal Arrow needs to land on a priority target, and they need to burn him. And they need to group around him. I feel like they're letting him island a little bit too much for my liking.
Yeah, and I think like a long-range parallel shot or perpendicular shot coming down from the Ashe would be perfect. You know, you're back at the Nexus, throw it down the mid lane, try to catch Neversaw on something while Quastek is there, or send it down one of the lanes when you know that they're going to be pushing it. So I think that's kind of like those low-risk, high-reward kind of ultimates, considering that now that he's level 12, you do get the reduced cooldown on it, and it will be available on the next fight. But yes, during these fights, we do see that Quastek and 5on are usually on the opposite side of the tanks from Loki. So if they can play this front to back, get tricks in front of all three of them, I do think that we will see different outcomes on these fights for Cupid. But it's really hard to do when you have a Bard that can, you know, journey behind through the terrain and catch all this stuff. And then if anybody steps up, you know, it's kind of hard for them as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow is coming out. They are pulling out 2 things here. He does end up getting hit by the Bard ult, but that's just going to be more CC as Evil Opter blasted out does get alive here. Now the damage on the backside here, the carries are getting taken out by Alaskan Kodiak on Skasante. Lokidosi flashing over. They're now getting chased through their own jungle. It is a little underwater. The barrier is popped by Lokidosi, trying to trade as much as he can, but Neversaw. The burn damage is going to take down the Ashe, and DDG get the fight that they want off the back of the aggressive play from Cupid. Now, 2 members standing on top of wards. Neversaw is trying to get as much damage as he can, does put the field down, is not going to catch anybody up, and now Kiwiism and Neversaw trying to push out Cupid completely away from this dragon, and DDG secure dragon number 4, the second glacial in a row.
I would have loved to see 5on go in there on top of Neversaw. Neversaw aggressively flashes in, and we see Lokidosi barely burning down to this really fed Victor, and we see this 5on has a perfect opportunity to punish him, but doesn't quite pull the trigger. I think scared for his life. A great start for this, and a beautiful ulti for Mr. Kiwiism. He's been playing out of his mind. This is a golden ulti, so even with the pullback, no damage can follow this entire time, and then he gets out scot-free, slammed into the wall, but is able to flash out right after, as we see a beautiful ulti from Quastek landing on the backline. Alaskan Kodak dies into that backline, killing off the Alistar as Loki's outputting this crazy amount of DPS, and we see Neversaw here flash in, barely gets the burn for the kill, and immediately there's no punish, and we just walk out, and it's a nice clean 2-for-1 in favor of DDG. I want to really point out how well Kiwiism played this, as another stun obviously comes in on this late one, burning Quastek's flash, but nothing really achieved from this back end except for the Drake.
Yeah,
I really want to point out. Oh god.
No. Point it out, and then yeah.
Mr. Kiwiism, I really want to point out how well he's been playing this early game. He has got a huge amount of KP. He's played a part of almost every play DDG make as another fight breaks out.
Another ultimate's going to come out. It does only hit onto the Alistar, but Quastek kind of stuck in between the pillagers. Lokidosi on the backside trying to dish out as much damage as it can, but the tanks are falling. Aethel on the backside trying to create space for Loki, but now everybody just falling down, and Loki, man on a mission, is just going to die as a quadra kill comes out for Neversaw. They're going to be looking for the pentakill here, but I don't think that 5on's that good of a dude to just kind of let that happen, as DDG now have their sights set on the Baron. As another quick, well-executed fight from DDG come out, and they are reaping all the benefits of their wonderful calls from Mr. Kiwiism.
Yeah, the cookie crumbles rough, and I guess Kiwi's also crumble, because he is perfect with these Bard ultis. He is landing absolutely every single one in a perfect way, and it is punishing. These immobile carries on Cupid cannot walk anywhere by themselves, and they are getting punished for, especially after blowing their flashes in those last fights. I am really impressed with the play from him, as well as the gold lead that Neversoul's created. If Cupid can find a pick, a strong force onto Neversaw, I can really see a chance where they can bring this game back, as the gold lead has grown to about 7k. I think we have one target clear in mind for Cupid, and it's all about the mid lane. We have to see a pick onto him, and we have to find him in that side wave.
Yeah, but easier said than done, right? Because DDG is doing such a good job of getting this vision. Kiwi, not just with the ults here, but he's also just creating such a strong vision advantage for his team now, as we are going to get another ult on the backside. 5on steps a little bit too close, wasn't able to kill the Trundle, and now on the backside of this fight, that's 4 members sitting under a turret. Neversaw does end up getting the ultimate down, is going to follow on the backside onto Loki Dosi, and there's almost nothing he can do. The barrier is popped, and at the same time, Aethel with the Alistar ult is going to fall. Brainy Fan does take down Hui, Quastec on the Hui, and Neversaw taking a couple turret shots here, but Loki Dosi way too low to even think about stepping up here, as now DDG look like they are going to try to press their advantage to the end of this, as they're going to take the tier 3 with the Baron empowered minions. Inhibitor falls, Ashe the only one alive here, no flash, no barrier, and these are 2 Nexus turrets that are falling so fast to this Yunara Trundle combo, and Alaskan Kodiak and Neversaw on the backside of this, just completely getting the Ashe out as Alaskan flashes forward, gets the kill on the Cassante, takes down Loki Dosi and DDG. A solid 2-0 start to this series.
Yeah, you have a monster performance from Neversaw there, especially Kiwi. At Neversaw right there, it's kind of like the boss music that you hear after you finish another fight and the second music starts playing. Walks in, does exactly whatever she wants to do. Flashes in again. I don't think I've seen her flash out a single time, only flash in. And it's always aggressive, and she always gets exactly what she wants done. She is punishing this Cupid lineup, and it is brutal to watch. That gold lead went to good use, and she just ran the map over.
Yeah, she did. And Alaskan Kodiak keeping Jace from really like getting anywhere in that game. That solo kill in the beginning, Jace, you saw how far behind Jace felt in that one, because 5on like was waiting for Bard to hit the vision ward and then jumps on him, gets everything off, and Kiwiism is like, okay, cool. Like here's a Bard ult behind you, as Trundle's gonna punch your face in, you know? And yeah, just every play just kind of seemed to go that way, where they would take the initiative, get somebody, almost kill them, not get the kill. So Cupid just a little bit too far down on the damage scale to be able to really finish off these plays. We saw a lot of good looks from Aethel and from Loki with the Enchanted Crystal Hours once he started hitting them, but by then it was too late, and DDG was just a little bit too far ahead. Not so much as they were in Game 1, but still the same clean execution that we saw from Game 1 from them. That's 2 games up to 0. If you're Cupid, what do you do?
I really want to see Cupid give Quastec these more supportive roles. Give him the Galio. Give him champions where he can support Trix to really be aggressive. I know Trix is a really skilled jungler, and I know Loki is a really good carry. I want to see Quastec on a more supportive, something that can facilitate Trix and Loki really popping off in these team fights. Build the space for his team. I want to see 5on on something that's more tanky based. The carries have not been working for him today. He's gotten solo killed by the tank, and if he can get something that can just give Loki, just give the team some time to play the game, I think these fights go a lot better. We're drafting and we're giving Trix something that can build that space with Skarner, but Trix is a great player. I want to see him something that he can carry on, and I want to see his teammates really build that space, really give the chance for Loki to shine and glide like he was in that last dragon fight.
Yeah, and there are bright spots, right? Like you said, like Loki doing a great job. Quastec, unfortunately, getting caught out like a little bit too much, so I'd like to see a little more awareness from him. You know, you can't walk up. Kiwi was so good with the vision on that game. Everywhere that he was, it seemed like there was vision ahead of him, right? Like he was setting up vision well before the plays were even coming. It's like he's playing chess, they're playing checkers. It's just a really strong performance from him. It's awesome to see a support, just play that well. And it's not even that Aethel's playing badly. It's just that he's playing out of his mind right now. Every single Bard ult either hit multiple people or got all of the priority targets to spread out, and then their team fights were just literally Loki on one side, Quastek on another side, way too close to all the damage of DDG, and then it was just boom, 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 boom. They just completely fell apart like dominoes, and yeah, all off the backs of Kiwi, his vision, and him and Evil Lobster are a duo that I would love to just sit back and watch. Like, I would watch that all day long because they just play together so well. That being said, Game 2 in the books. DDG have a commanding lead right now, and it's up to Cupid in Game 3 to try to turn this around and give themselves some hope. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with the Titan Esports Immortal Grand Finals. All right, welcome back everybody to the Titan Esports Immortal Series Grand Finals between DropDeadGaming and Cupid Esports. And JJ, been a little rough for Cupid here at the start.
Yeah, game one was by far a huge blowout, not even a close game. Game two, a lot more competitive, really, really kind of a neck and neck. You had two different carries kind of duking it out to see who can really lift their team and put them on their back. And when it came down to it, Neversaw just had a stronger back, I guess. She picked up the whole team and kind of walked them over the finish line with a huge gold lead on Victor.
Yeah, and that was like really impressive too, because Quastec didn't start out bad, right? Like it was kind of going their way. They were doing well. Cupid was making a lot of early plays. They once again get the first 2 dragons. They also ended up getting the first 2 grubs, and it kind of seemed like the momentum was kind of all going their way. And then all of a sudden, the DDG switch hits, and they start making good picks, really strong plays off of the vision of Mr. Kiwiism, and then just him and Evil Lobster just sort of kind of took over every play, set everything up, and then the Bard was basically the star of the game.
Yeah, those Bard ultis were absolutely fantastic. Even here on the production side, after the game, we were just talking about which ones were our favorites, as every single one of them was absolutely pinpoint accurate. I looked at the content, and I wrote the content before this tournament, actually right before this series happened, and I put there was a huge favorite side to the support matchup, and it was all for DDG. Mr. Kiwiism is one of my favorite support players. I think he's really underrated in the scene. He's got a huge presence. The way he captures vision and the way he holds vision is almost second to none, and I think it really showed in that game where they just had wards absolutely everywhere. You were talking about that during the break.
Yeah, I was, and like I'm a huge fan of the vision line, and I try to like stay to this because I'm not very good at this game, but I do have a couple macro things that I like to follow by, and the vision line is one of them, right? Like you set the line, you don't go past it, and then you go up, and he like that. It might as well have been in Cupid's base because they had vision of everything. Every time the Cupid wanted to make a play, and this was the same in game 1, where every bad play that Cupid had towards the end of that game was based off of Kiwi's vision. And so that continued in game 2. And then, yeah, we did. I think all 4 of us had a different Bard ult that we wanted to highlight to ourselves. So Kiwi, definitely the star of game number 2. As we're getting into game 3, Cupid opts to stay on the blue side. Is there anything that you expect to see out of them that is really just going to be like, okay, this is their game, that they can at least make this a 3-1 series or something? Is there anything they have in their back pockets?
I would love to see either a control mage that's super stable, something like the Orianna onto Quastec in the mid lane as a first
pick. Not gonna get it. That's a ban.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I was really surprised to see the Caitlyn ban for the 3rd time from Cupid. Loki is a great early game AD carry player. He's really strong at dominating the laning phase. I'm surprised that we're continuing to see the Caitlyn put on there on the blue side when he could just take it. And the Galio ban surprises me too for Quastec.
Yeah, there's 2 champions you said you wanted Quastec to play. Neversaw said no, and then Quastec said no. They're not allowing the Galio to come through, or the Orianna, which are 2 very, very strong, as you said, not just control mages, but they can really turn around team fights. They can save. They both offer so much just versatility to their team comps, as we are going to get a potential flex. But with the way that these have been going, Taliyah jungle?
Taliyah mid, for sure.
Okay.
M600, right. That's definitely going to be a Taliyah mid. It's the strongest there. I should say definitely. There's a world where Trix can play it. I've seen some of his plays on some of his accounts, and he's definitely flexible. I think DDG here, they're going to pick up that Jinx, and this is going to be their tried and true. They run this comp pretty commonly in game 3, where they lock in some really stable front-to-back hyperscaler, and that's their game 3 draft. They ran it against DropDeadGaming, and they're going to run it back here, it looks like.
Okay, well, you are getting one thing that you asked for, and that is going to be 5 on a tank, right? So you're going to get the Ornn, you're going to have strong engage, you're going to have a Taliyah wall to sort of like funnel everybody in, and it does look like they're trying to do kind of the same thing where they want this pick, this front to back, and then the Tristana pick for Cupid. I don't know. To me, maybe like a misfortune or something. It does seem like they're going to be able to funnel and lock down, but Loki is going to be on the Tristana, so we're going to see if his fancy feet can go into fancy jumps and really turn this around.
Demacia. That's going to be the answer into the Ornn. We love to see the Garen. A confident pick for a lasting Kodak. He actually ended his last series, Game 5, on the Garen.
Okay, I'm excited.
Taking it to a absolute banger, and he popped off that series. I think he is one of the main reasons they won Game 5 to make it to this finals, locking in that Garen early into that Orin. A Malphite ban coming through, that is a Lobster special. One of his favorite jungles, same with the Amumu. Two of Lobster's most popular and favorite champions to play.
Oh, that makes me like him even more because I also like the Malphite jungle. So, so yeah, interesting. And the Garen it's going to be a Xin Zhao, which I think just works perfectly into this comp as well. You know, his ultimate's going to be able to just like stop so much that they want to do. It's also going to, you know, give him his own self peel. It's going to allow spacing for the Morgana, for the Jinx to be able to kind of do what they're doing. And then, like you said, Alaskan on a Garen, I'm excited to see it because I think that it's going to be something where he's going to be able to do whatever kind of he wants to, you know, just create chaos on the backside of this Cupid comp, as the Rakan and the Jax are going to come in on the backside here for Cupid.
Yeah, I am really excited for that Jax pick. We're giving Trick something he can play on, something that he wins the matchup in, and something aggressive. The Thresh is a interesting pick, actually. I am very surprised to not see a more supportive kind of help the Jinx kind of go forward, supporty kind of champion coming out from Mr. Kiwi isn't here.
Yeah, I think that, you know, obviously Thresh does offer a lot of safety net on the back end. You can just throw your Lantern out and, you know, they can get it. It does have a lot of lockdown, some peel with the Flay, and then his ultimate is just super slower. So I do think that it's going to allow, you know, some space to be created for Branny on this Jinx. And then obviously with the Morgana Black Shield and everything else, they are going to be able to negate a lot. And it's not your standard Protect the President comp, but it is a very strong, you know, compilation of champions that can give a lot of support to that late game Jinx. So we'll see how that ends up going on. And as we're going into the Rift, since there are no crazy invades, back to you for your third prediction. JJ, you're 2-0. So is DDG. What do you got?
This is a tough one. I actually think this is the most balanced draft out of every single one. I think I'm going to actually give the edge to Cupid this game. I really enjoy the Jax pick. I think they have a clear kind of how they want to play the comp with a great follow-up. If they end up getting that first kill, they have the ability to keep going forward on that Tristana. But I think it's going to be hard for Brandy Fan to play these fights. There's only one champion that can really build that space that Jinx really needs, and that's going to be Evil Lobster with his ultimate. Maybe you can get the Thresh ulti down to build some of that space, but it's going to be quickly evaporated. All of these champions have dashes or jumps or Talia flicks. It's not going to slow down much as they come forward. So I'm very, very, very intrigued. If Neversaw can land the bindings, I give this a good game for DDG. If the bindings aren't quite landing and the positioning is good for Cupid, I think they can easily take this game.
Yeah, as we see a lot of action off in the bot lane as the barrier and the ignite are both down. Kiwi down a barrier. I mean, down the ignite. Loki down the barrier. The Q start from the Rakan not doing enough to heal up Loki Dosi as Kiwi and Branny are just completely dominating this level 1 portion of this bot lane here. So DDG still kind of doing their thing, as we know that Rakan and Tristana are going to take a little bit to sort of get going here.
Yeah, another classic failure of trope is hey, Jinx is weak in the early game, but that range is not weak, and Brandy Fan really shows them why. Brandy Fan, a known good Jinx player, and I think it's gonna be a brutal laning phase. That's not how you want to start a Tristana lane. If they need to get bailed out here, and I think both junglers pathing down is going to be an explosive start to the game as they hold the wave to get it to push away from them, and a flash in from Mr. Kiwiism, but a swing and a miss.
Yeah, swing and a miss, but he does get the follow-up play. So the zap is going to land onto Loki as well, and this is going to be an entire wave that Cupid is going to have to miss. I don't think that Aethel can even stay here and bait out like a Jax, you know, save him under the tower kind of play. So really strong plays from Mr. Kiwiism there. He does have the Hex Flash, so that's not that big of a summoner to use. Aethel does still have the flash heal, so maybe going to try to make something work, as Jax is farming ahead of Evil Lobster on the Xin Zhao, so we'll see if they want to try to call for something here. But DDG bot lane doing the smart thing, getting the Cheaters recall in 21-5 on first backs.
Yeah, that is a brutal start for this Tristana lane. On the bright side, that cannon wave is going to hold up a lot of those minions at the tower, but Tristana, especially in the early levels, not the best at farming at a tower. Able to pick up about 6 of those, and this is not the start you want to see on the Tristana that needs to get ahead. Whereas Brandy fan is very happy, very scaling, very excited to be up, what, 6, 7, a whole wave already, a wave and a half already on this Jinx pick.
Ooh, yeah, and as you were talking about earlier, the binding from Neversaw does end up catching Quastek out on the top side of that minion there, so just enough there. So pixel perfect, and Alaskan Kodiak did opt to take the Ignite here, so is probably going to try to look for a play onto 5on here in about 3 or 4 seconds if he steps up, but 5on playing it kind of smart here, is trying to use the Ornn passive. Does have, you know, a pot and a biscuit on the backside here, but keeping his distance as well as he can now, as we see Evil Lobster coming up over to the top side here to try to give some support to Alaskan. They know the Jax is going to be here. They know they want to shut down this Garen as much as they can. And then in the mid lane, you know, Morgana is just getting all of the pressure that they want here. Neversaw, she's doing a great job of just pushing this wave. This is one of the most infuriating things about playing against Morgana, especially as a mage. You can't damage her because of Black Shield, and you can't outpush her.
Yeah, I really like what the tiny micro plays of Evil Lobster there, warding his top side so that way his top can continue to be aggressive. Gets the plays under the tower, gets to be really aggro, knowing that Jax has just reset and is most likely heading up there. They ward, keeps the Garen safe, make sure nothing can go wrong in that lane, as we see already a full kill's worth of gold ahead for Brandy fan, 300. Nothing to write home about. The game is still definitely playable, but not the start you want to see if you're a Cupid fan. I really want to see Trix farm. I want to see him be fed. I do not want to see him making any bailing out plays, as we see an ulti from Neversaw onto Quastek.
Yeah. And he does end up landing, and he mitigates just enough of that with the Black Shield. Does not end up getting knocked backwards into the tower range. So fancy feat from Neversaw, able to basically get all of that poke for like free here, as now doesn't have enough damage to get a play onto the turret, but Cupid does realize that the dragon is up and want to try to contest this. This might be DDG's first one, as we're going to get a flash for a flash, and Neversaw having to get back here, but now Alaskan Kodiak is going to flash in, gets the silence, gets the ultimate. Damashi Justice paid dividends onto Talia now, as Trix is going to try to contest this Baron, this dragon. He is seen, does get the play to miss, but loses the 50-50 smite on the back end there. Aethel on the Recon trying to get him in there, but is going to get taken down. Evil Lobster flashes over the Dragon Wall and gets it in there. But now we see 5on coming in on this Ornn, is going to get a little bit back. We do see Aethel getting the kill onto the Jinx, but now 5on just kind of stuck here with not anywhere to go, as this is going to be the 5th kill in rapid succession here for DDG, as they get the dragon, they get the elongated 5-for-1 as the roam from Alaskan comes down. Teleport not required.
A brutal start for Cupid, and I feel like I've said this almost every single game this series. It feels like on these objective plays, they get a little bit too hypey, they feel themselves a little bit too much, jumping in to try and steal it, an early smite down to 14 HP from 614, barely not getting it, a tragic end, and then the fight's over because you've burned all your abilities to get into that pit, so the fight is not playable, but Cupid try and play it anyway, and we end up getting an ace, basically, just delayed from the mid lane play, and it's 5-0, and next thing you know, we're up 3k gold on DDG. I said it earlier in game number 1, you have to have a lead into DDG if you want to beat them, and this is not what you want to see from Cupid. I really hope they can set up on these grubs correctly and get a really good fight.
Yeah, you called that perfectly, and that also all goes onto the backs of Alaskan Kodiak being able to just shove that wave super quickly, super hard, and then he was able to get to the Dragon in the mid lane to be able to get the kill onto the onto the Talia before that play even starts because of all the tempo and pressure that he has. As there's going to be a little bit of a skirmish here, 5on trying to get away, but he is going to get silenced. The slice and dice coming through. Garen, not enough damage to get him here. Did have the ignite in his back pocket, but didn't want to pull the trigger now, as the grubs are going to be the next objective. As Trix does smite away the second of 3, so they do end up getting 2 of the grubs on the back end of that. DDG also getting the 1, so that they're not going to have the 3 grub buff. But yeah, Laskin Kodiak just getting there before a teleport is insane. Is trying to chase out this bot lane here and just choke them out of resources, and I feel like that's something that DDG has done so well in all 3 now of these games.
Yeah, I think Alaskan Kodak is having a serious performance here. He is putting on a show and showing why he's the best of the top laners in the league so far. It seems like he is just destroying 5on in every aspect. He gets the push, and then he doesn't just sit there with the push. He doesn't do nothing. He immediately goes down, makes the play onto Quaztech, making that Drake fight favorable. And even here, Trix makes a play, but it's on a ward. It gets hooked and into an immediate counterattack.
Yeah, Trix jumping way too far into there, and those super fancy feat from Kiwiism as Jinx is getting excited. They are trying to get this tower aggro to go down here. Kiwiism is going to take another shot and is going to go down, a shutdown over for the Tristana here, but on the bottom side, Alaskan Kodiak, and yes, on that fight, Alaskan Kodiak getting the kill under the tower onto the Ornn. This is 5on has just not had a good time here, as the Black Shield is actually going to save Morgana from a kill herself. And Tristana does stick around, does get the kill onto the Xin Zhao, but Xin Zhao and Jinx do get the kill, and this is going to be the 3rd plate, I think, all in a row for Brandyfan to pick this up. So now Jinx coming online here, and just DDG just making plays all over the place on this map and just getting so much for their efforts here. As now we're seeing a 4.4k gold lead 10 minutes in.
That was a brutal toggle to the gold chart. As we see, almost every single lane is up over 1,000 gold already. Even with Tristana getting 2 shutdowns back to back, still not even being close to this Jinx. Down almost half of Brandyfan's farm is not where you want to be. An early pick Jinx, you have the perfect counters, whatever lane you want into it, and it just does not seem like Cupid had the right answers this game. As Loki sits with 2 components to a full completed Yoon Towels on the side of Brandyfan.
Yeah, and Jinx is only going to get stronger. Obviously, Tristana will too, but I feel like Jinx on the backside of these fights is going to be able to stay safer and further away, obviously, once you start using the rockets. But good catch up by Quaztech. The Kiwiism does throw out a hook on the backside there, but can't get it, as the shield from the Lantern is going to be enough to save them. But a good catch from Quaztech to get a little bit of damage onto that turret there for themselves. But DDG on the top side, Morgana just shoving down this turret, getting another plate for themselves. Never saw doing a really good job. It does look like Quaztech is coming through here. Will get spotted out on a ward, but will... Yeah, okay, so here comes the wall to catch Never Saw out on the bottom side of this, but there's nobody here to follow up on this play.
Yeah, an ulti just to get back into lane is a brutal way to burn the Talia ulti when you can't walk through the Morgana. I'm really surprised as we have a Rakan ulti come in.
Yeah, Rakan ulti does get in, does get the hop up there. Mr. Kiwiism does end up taking all of the damage from the Tristana, but not enough to kill him. The Super Mega Death Rocket is going to go wide left, and Loki Dosi is ended up just catches the wrong side of a Xin Zhao spear and takes it. That is a play that they started. Once again, this seems to be like what's happening to Cupid every single time. A play that they start, that they call, gets turned into an 0-2 for them.
It feels like the name of the game for DDG versus Cupid has been tempo, tempo, tempo. Every single play that is made by Cupid, it's a little bit off tempo. We just had a play where Neversaw gets the push up top. She has the free roam. We just burn Quaztech ulti to get to that wave, has to reset out of mana, and then we look for a play mid, but guess what? That Neversaw roam is coming down, and she flashes in lands the ulti, shreds Cupid down, and the fight seems like almost like child's play at this point. They really need to lock in and try and find these more tempo play kind of on-timer fights, but they really need to unlock their mid lane into their sideways. Their sideways do not have push. They can't get those lanes out. They need to find a way to free up Rakan, free up Tricks, and get something done on these sideways, or else this game will just continue to snowball in favor of DDG.
Yeah, it definitely will. And another thing too is that it seems like this should go down into like Immortal League 101. If you see Kiwiism, Evil Lobster is not far behind, because every single time he's waiting just outside of vision to pounce onto this, and so every time they jump onto the thresh, Evil Lobster is right there to save his support. So they're doing a really good job of just keeping them, like I said, like out of vision and in the range to just pounce on these plays. And there's just doesn't seem like there's anything that Cupid can do. Tristana not online with the Yuntals just yet. You know, so far behind Brandyfan on this Jinx, and they just don't have a kill here. And as you see again, they shove up to the turret, and where's Evil Lobster? Waiting in the wings outside the bottom side of this turret. This is going to be turret number 1 coming down, because now Neversaw is coming up as well. The Morgana is going to basically force them off here, as Cupid smartly takes the way out of there. As Alaskan Kodiak is trying to get the kill, will end up getting the kill onto the Ornn on the bot side here. Tricks gonna try to do their best to sort of lock this down. You do have Quaztech on the backside here too, and it does look like they're gonna try to trade this kill over to him, but Alaskan with the flash is able to get out of there, and he's so fast. He's now meeting up with the rest of his team. Zinchao, Evil Lobster with the ultimate stops Quaztech from being able to follow this up, and Alaskan does end up getting out, and Evil Lobster potentially is going to pay with his life on the backside of this, but Neversaw does get in there with a Morgana ultimate, does come through, lands another binding, gets the pool down. Brandyfan on a killing spree on the top side of this, so you have 2 fights going at the same time, and Excited Jinx is going to finish this off, and that is a 4-for-1 going the way of DDG, and all 4 of those kills onto Brandyfan.
That is a brutal turn of events for Cupid. They get the pick onto the bot side. It looks like, okay, a 1-for-1. We'll take the shutdown, give it to the Jax. But next thing you know, this man's got his hiking boots on, and he is running across the map. He is gone. He takes the enhanced blast cone across the entire lane. A beautiful ulti from Evil Lobster, who says, "Get down, Mr. President, I'll save you." Gives his own life to go out and save Alaskan, who's having one hell of a performance today. And then it seemed like Loki and Aethel were on a separate page, and they wanted to fight on the top side, while the rest of the team's trying their best to take out Neversaw and finish off the Xin Zhao, and the fight just boils over to Brandyfan running him over with a giant rocket.
Yeah, and I think another problem with that fight too, it wasn't even that they wanted to fight there. They were trying to join to catch the Garen, but they had to run through the gauntlet here. As we see the flash coming out, just take the kill, Tricks. Just take the kill. We see that all the time. Yes, Evil Lobster knocking Quaztech back, taking a couple turret shots here, and now you see Kiwiism here, ready to save everyone, but unfortunately Evil Lobster a little bit on the backside here. As Aethel does end up going in, they know that Garen is low, but his passive has been going this entire time, and now they just are stuck between the Morgana and everyone else here. And yes, once the Jinx gets excited, Brandyfan with the Black Shield not going to be stopped. They get the Rift Herald on the backside of that play too, so that's a 4-for-1 with the Rift Herald and the Tier 1 turret. Also, while we were replaying that, the Tier 2 falls to the Rift as well, and they're going to get a Tier 2 in the mid lane for their troubles as well.
And Loki once again not having a good game.
Catching out Tricks with the Morgana. Another binding on top of that, and that's going to be a dead Ornn. So now the Jax end up getting the kill onto the Jinx on the backside here, as the fight is going a lot longer than I expected, as Zinchao is going to get the kill onto the Taliyah here. Loki Dosi on the backside is going to hop through, does get the kill onto the Morgana, hops back out, and now Tricks getting a double stun here. The Zinchao ultimate is popped, and now Kiwiism and Evil Lobster trying to face down Loki Doki here. They do have Tricks on the backside here, and the Audacious Charge is going to finish off the Tristana, and Tricks is going to have to just walk away from this fight. And Alaskan Kodiak wasn't even part of that play, just takes another Tier 2.
Yeah, it honestly just feels like a lion playing with its food at this point, as Neversaw decides to dive the inhib tower basically by herself as they run the rift from one side of the map to the other. Take the kills, take the fight, take an extended messy fight, but it's all turning up DDG, so why not? As they slowly win this fight and kill everyone on Cupid almost for a second time as Loki falls for a second time. Alaskan just takes the top tier 2. We take all the top tier 2s in one fell sweep and the second Drake for DDG. And it's looking like a game 1 kind of stomp again with a 10k gold lead at 18 minutes.
Yeah, they definitely went back to their roots on this one. This is showing a lot of DDG's ability to just keep pressing everything, as now Aethel is going to get caught out on the Recon, is going to get the knockup, going to be able to get over to Trix here, but the Super Mega Death Rocket just goes wide south, and 5on waiting in the wings, trying to catch them, but Alaska and Kodiak is just sitting there, knowing that they're coming through. Good Recon ultimate to, kind of save himself there, as Loki is coming over on the top side here. Now they're all going to get caught out by the Ornn. Trix on the backside, along with the Tristana, trying to get the resets, jumping in. Mr. Kiwiism is now separated from the rest of his team, but so is Aethel on the backside, as Neversaw is going to get a free kill onto the Recon, and now they're chasing down Mr. Kiwiism. The Black Shield is going to be enough to get him safe, as a double ultimate from Neversaw coming out on this Morgana, doing just enough damage to try to get them out here. Ornhorn going to go through. Alaskan Kodiak does get the kill onto the Jax here, and Loki Dosi is able to actually get the finish off onto the Garen, and is trying to go after Mr. Kiwisim here, but I don't think he's going to end up catching this Thresh.
What a snipe from 5on, catches the Morgana on the back end of that ulti, barely clipping her and killing her. What a snipe. A great play from Cupid, one of the best plays they could, looking for that slight flank. Saddest story of that entire fight is Aethel gets the kill on top of Brandy Fan. That gold that needs to go into the hands of Tristana, that needs to go into the hands of Kostek, or even Trix ends up on the support. Not the end of the world, but definitely not what you want to see. I expect both teams here to brawl for this very, very hard. This Otacon is going to be make or break, and I think, unfortunately, the item spikes are coming through really, really, really well for DDG. There's almost a 5k gold lead in the top lane just by itself, and that's where all the gold is going to be. So anywhere Garen goes is not a fight that's playable. 3.5, close enough at this point. As to that last play, it's gone down a little bit, but not by much.
Yeah, and I think that Cupid are apt to just kind of let this go, unfortunately. I don't think that there's any way that they could have contested that, even if Alaskan wasn't there, but now they're kind of stuck in between the middle here. Sitting at the mid lane, vision is going to be cleared. They are getting a little bit of pressure on the top side with 5on on this Ornn. They're going to try to set up a little bit of a death brush here, as they know the Kiwiism is going to try to get some deep vision. Neversaw and Evil Lobster moving forward together, do pop the blue ward to kind of see and catch out Trix here. They are going to try to take this red buff. The Morgana binding does go wide as Aethel tries to jump in. They do end up getting the... No, they end up getting... Cupid does end up getting that onto the backside there, as we see multiple red buffs on their members. So do win one smite battle after losing a couple for the Dragons and I believe one of the Barons earlier in the game. So on his way back here.
Definitely doesn't feel good when you TP and the TP play is a red buff.
Yeah.
Not the state of game that we definitely want to be in. But at least it's something. And if we can see, the item disparity is not the farthest behind for Loki. He's about half an item behind, which is about the best bright side I can see for Cupid right now. If Loki can get some more shutdowns, a couple more pop-offs, and a good fight angle where they can one-shot this Jinx before the fight really starts, I can see a world where Cupid can win this game. That's the kind of the chance I gave them at the start of the game, is if they can find these angles onto Jinx, if they can find the quick kill onto Jinx, something happens, mispositioning from Branny Fan, and they're able to just quickly execute her and then immediately play this fight, I think Cupid has a strong team fight and can easily win this game, as 5on is slowly approaching those Ornn item upgrades.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's kind of their win condition in there, but at the same time, Neversaw just hitting so many bindings on this Morgana and just kind of stopping the plays before they happen. And then it's not Branny Fan out of position. It ends up being Loki or somebody else out of position, or Aethel, so where they're not really able to do like anything that they want to, because they don't have Loki Dosi at a point where they can really just 1-0 and get those resets going and going. The resets have all been on the Jinxes. Now, Kiwiism is going to land a Thresh Hook onto Aethel on the Rakan, but he is just going to hop away, so no overcommitment there. And yeah, the teleport for a red buff, but if he doesn't go there, they probably lose the game. So it's kind of one of these things where DDG are just so far ahead in terms of the macro, where the game is, and the money, that they're just not able to do anything if you're Cupid. And it just, like you said, feels so bad when that is like one of the best plays that you can make.
I like what Cupid's doing here. They're using their little bit of timing here, dropping the mid wave, letting it bounce even, dropping that bot contest, and collecting some vision in this upper top side before the Baron spawn. This is a perfect way to make picks, get catches, and come back into this game. As we see a fight on the top side.
Yeah, as we do see, Neversaw does end up landing a binding, comes in with the Morgana ultimate, does hit 3 of them, does get a binding onto the Tristana as well. And on the top side of this, Alaskan Kodiak just taking out Talia, and then following up on top of the Tristana. Lokidosi unfortunately had 0 places that they could go, as Trix is going to flash over the wall, is going to get Thresh hooked by Kiwiism. Still trying to get away as Alaskan Kodiak is trying to follow through. The teleport from the Morgana actually goes to the bot side here, trying to get this tier 3 as Trix is trying to run through this as fast as they can, but it's hard to get away from Garen. Here's the slice and dice, is going to get them another kill. That's a dead Jax now. Trix, nothing that they can do. Neversaw starting that fight off with a good binding, followed up by a flash. Didn't even flash, just walked up and ulted Loki and Aethel to start that fight, and then DDG just following through all of that. And Ornn, you're a tank and you're taking that much damage just from one Morgana with the Mikhails and Rakan shields on the top of it. This Neversaw is just playing out of their mind this game.
Yeah, and I feel like the story is kind of getting old at this point. Look at the same old, and Mr. Kiwiism is running this map everywhere he needs to be. Once again, the highest KP in the game. I feel like he's just been on fire. He always knows where to be. His vision control is really, really solid. We don't talk about it a lot. It's not something brought up a lot, but he's up 20 vision score on his counterpart. He's doing great at just getting the vision out there and making sure that whatever chances Cupid have to come back, they have to do it blind. And DDG has all the information. They know where everyone is all the time, and they can make the plays around that.
Yeah, they do. And I like that Riot actually changed the way the vision score worked in this last one, where it's not just you buy a vision ward and you get a point, right?
Yeah,
you actually have to catch people. You have to sweep things. So you have to actually have use out of your wards for it to count towards your vision score. So that really shows how effective Kiwiism is being on these support games. And as they're going to start the Baron, they're going to probably get it for free, as Trix and everybody else is going to the bot side for Cupid. So that's just a free Baron for the side of DDG, and this might end up spelling the end for Cupid's dream for the finals here, as they look poised to just start sieging. And when you have a Jinx and you have all of these tools at your disposal to help with it, it's not good.
I think we're going to get a fight here near the end, and it's going to be either a game-winning fight or a game-turning fight, and I think we're coming up on it very, very soon as we slowly see the inhib tower fall. The Jinx get excited, and here breaks comes the fight.
Yeah, we do get the wall out of Quaztech on the Talia to try to get into the back there. They are going to end up getting the kill on the Brennipan, but on the south side here, Lokidosi is super low as well, as now Aethel is the next target of this Xin Shao. He's going to get another one, so that's a double kill for him. They turn their focus over to the middle inhibitor as the top tier 3 falls. This inhibitor is going down as well, and I don't know if Lokidosi and Fibon have enough to do this, but they do get the Ornn knockup. Kiwiism does fall down, and now Lokidosi dashing forward, but Alaskan Kodiak Ignite and Slice this is able to get this, as the spin and win from the Garen is going to be enough here. Does he step too far forward, and can Fibon get this, as the Garen still trying to get inside here. The redemption does come through from Kiwiism as the second Nexus Tower does fall. Evil Lobster and Alaskan trying to end this as Aether comes up, does get the knock up here as Trix comes through, does get the kill onto the Garen, and Evil Lobster is just enough to finish. No! Does it? Yes, he does. Okay, the Winions end up getting this as the valiant effort from Cupid is just not enough, as DropDeadGaming 3-0 for the Immortal League Finals.
Yeah, a bit of a statement series here from DDG. They lost in the regular season, their only series lost this entire split, and they wanted to make sure not to repeat it as they come out swinging in all 3 games. Game 1 and Game 2, well, Game 2 was a bit close. Game 1 and Game 3 were absolute stomps. Look at that bar graph. I don't think I see a single, maybe a speck of blue at the very, very start. Maybe. It's all DDG all day.
Yeah, in this game, even though game 1 and 2 were pretty much DDG games as well, this one, they didn't give up the first dragon. They had the lead. They got the kill lead. They were 5-1 after like an elongated play where Garen actually out-rotated somebody with the teleport, Ornn with the teleport. So out-roamed by Alaskan, and they were so locked in on this game that I don't know if there's anything that Cupid could have drafted or changed to really change it. There's MVP style performances on basically everybody. The only one we didn't really get to talk about was Branny Fan because of how Kiwi was kind of just, all over the place. And not that he was overshadowing him, but, you're a Jinx and you did what you were supposed to. You kept the space and you just got the kills. And then all of your resets are based on everything else everyone was doing. So top to bottom, DDG just did so well this entire series. And, I always like to try to pick an MVP out of these, and I think that game 1 was probably going to be Neversaw, and then or Evil Lobster, and then game 2 for me was definitely Kiwi, and game 3 I'd have to give it to him as well because just the way he controlled the map and was just always at the right place at the right time.
As far as expectations go, I fully agree with you. I think it's got to be maybe never saw for game 1, but Mr. Kiwiism on 2 and 3. He absolutely showed up today. I also want to shout out Alaskan Kodak. A matchup that we thought would be kind of neutral, maybe a bit in between. It was not. It was Alaskan all day. He absolutely took every single matchup he got and just slammed it through. It was brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah, this was a rough series for 5-on. I haven't gotten to watch these guys play very much, during the regular season or anything, but Alaskan just looked really strong every single game on the top side, even though Trix did his job in the first game to get the early kill onto the Renekton, but Alaskan still just took that and just did the same thing, just got better with the vision and then had more map awareness. And then between him and Evil Lobster and obviously Kiwi coming along with Lobster everywhere, they were able to make up for that really quickly. And yeah, DDG just played such a solid team game or team series. Every single game they were always running together. It didn't look like any play really happened that they didn't at least want it to, or that it didn't start with like game 2, like an Enchanted Crystal Hour or something crazy like that. But they always had an answer to the aggression of Cupid, and just 3-0, not to say that it was completely dominant, but that's about as dominant as you can get.
Yeah, I think this series was one of those series where I think a lot of people had DDG as the favorites. I think it was clear that DDG were probably going to be the favorites coming into this series. And a lot of people were hoping for an upset because DDG is so dominant in the series. And a lot of people want revenge. You don't want to see the team you lost to win. That's never fun. So a lot of people were hoping to see a Cupid upset here, but I think it's just DDG all day. They've always been super solid. They continue to be super dominant. They play off each other really well. They know how to play around each other's vision. Neversaw is great at playing with Evil Lobster. Mr. Kiwiism is great at playing with Evil Lobster. Branny Fan knows his role. Elastic Kodak steps up and says, you know what? I don't want to be outshined. I'm going to show I belong on this team. And he absolutely does.
Yeah, well, 100%. So congratulations to them, and congratulations to Cupid to getting to the finals. It was not an easy road here. You did have to go through a best of 5 and a best of 4 in the quarterfinals. Played in an almost immaculate season where you dropped one game you weren't expecting to, another one that was hard fought, and you ended up beating DDG in the regular season. So shout out to all those guys. You guys played amazing, and just it's a blessing to even get in here. So unfortunately they ran into DDG today. They were not being stopped, and congratulations once again to DDG, the Titan Esports Immortal Series Finals. It has been an absolute blast to cast with you, JJ. Thank you so much for allowing me onto this cast with you. And thank you so much to our production, Chris Senga, and to Anti. You guys were amazing. And chat, you guys are going to get what you're asking for. Don't go anywhere. We will be back soon with the interview. JJ will be interviewing the winners. I don't know exactly who he's going to get, but we will have an interview for you guys after this, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome everybody back to the Titan Esports Immortal Series Grand Finals. We are in the aftermath of what was a pretty one-sided series finale. DDG taking the win 3-0 over Cupid Esports. Alongside me and JJ are Mr. Kiwiism and Alaskan Kodiak. And I want to start with Mr. Kiwi, the Bard Master. How does it feel going 3-0 and getting at least the casters vote for the MVP?
So it feels pretty good. Usually I don't get the MVP because like support's not really like a carry role. So usually it's like Lobster getting it or Neversaw or someone. So that's pretty fun that I was popping off so hard that I got it.
Yeah, I mean, those two players are overrated anyway. So I wanna have a couple questions, and I really want to start with Alaska. How does it feel being the Troy replacement? Everyone knows Troy. Everyone talks about Troy. How does it feel to be the Troy replacement and then pop off so hard in finals, getting a solo kill or at least 2 every single game in the finals?
Really, really good. The 60-40 kind of pissed me off. So I really thought I kind of used that. I was offsetting that every single time I solo killed him. So I thought I kind of just used that and like propelled it forward every single game. I felt like he was getting more tilted every time I typed it. So I thought it was working.
I'm glad I could motivate you, really.
Thank you. Yeah, that was really good. It still feels like shit because we played against Troy on Monday in Blue Otter, and I still lost to him 3-2. So he's still my father. So I can't, there's no getting away from that. He's obviously the better top laner individually, but DDG has been like a really, really good time, and super thankful for Lobster still for just throwing me in here.
I was gonna go to you next, Kiwi. I wanted to ask, how did it feel to play this series? It felt like their strong side was for Cupid is going to be that Loki Dosey, hard carrying the game, really popping off. And it seemed like you guys handled it not only well, but just kind of dominant. Felt like every game they never had a lead. The only game that was semi-close was the Ash game. And it felt like you were running the map the entire time. Like you knew where to be, when to be, and why to be there. Is it just the rehearsal of DDG where you guys are just like, it's practiced and you do it? Or tell me about that process.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of practice, but I don't know. I kind of just do my thing, I guess. I mean, we kept getting like 5-man div. We know they're going to play for Loki Dosey. It's like such an obvious thing because we played against these guys so many times before. So it's always just like 5-man bot, and just try to survive it. But we were Loki like winning in lane most of these games too, besides like maybe the first one because it was like Karma Varus. But every other game was like, I don't know. I mean, you said in the content yourself that I was the better support, so I feel like I did, and I'm not gonna like flame this guy, but I feel like I was just a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely fair.
I had no like issue like just controlling the map, controlling the vision, controlling everything, and like getting what I wanted. Like I was never pressured to not get what I want. All 3 games, I felt like.
Yeah, so it felt like you were very comfortable on absolutely every single pick you got. I wanted to ask you guys a kind of general question. This prep for Game 3, I recognized it felt very, very similar to the game against us in Game 3, where you guys drafted the Jinx early and you guys ran with that kind of same kind of identity, same kind of comp. Is this something that you guys rehearsed, that draft, especially that 3 game or that Game 1? Those felt almost identical. Do you guys have that down to a T where you're like, we know what we're going to grab, we know exactly what we're going to take, and we know exactly how we're going to play this Game 1 and Game 3?
Not particularly. Evil Lobster does an amazing job of drafting for us. And I mean, we all just are shouting and doing an awful job of talking over each other, but it eventually comes out. But don't look at BOL drafts. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't look over there. Look at these ones. These ones are great. Okay, don't look over there.
Sometimes we overcook or like pick some weird crap, but I don't know. We just knew that Jinx was like high prio, and then we thought they were gonna pick Caitlyn. They didn't pick Caitlyn, or they kept banning it on blue side, which was weird when it was like the only real strong ADC left besides Jinx. So it was just weird.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Alaskan Kodak another question about the final pick in both series of the semifinals and this one, the Garen coming out, and both games, I feel like you put on a show on it and absolutely dominated. Is this just something you're known for? Do you just love the Garen, or is it just confident in it?
I'm actually known as a 2-trick Aatrox Asante player, and I had this shit in my back pocket like fucking quicksand, just like ready to throw it out in people's eyes. They would never see that shit coming. I mean, it's fucking Garen. It's not, it's not rocket science. It's just Garen, And if you get the trading pattern down, you get the right matchup. He just does this every time. It's very consistent.
Yeah, and I got one final question. Then I'm going to toss it to Fel. Did you guys, out of both series, and I have to ask this for my own ego, out of this series or the last series, which one was a bit more challenging? Was last series really the secret finals?
No, it was this one. You guys fucking sucked.
You ain't getting it, buddy.
You guys cheeks, bro.
Yeah, Dorato's always cheeks. Zol's my biggest fan.
Yeah.
Oh, I think JJ didn't hear that.
No.
I think he seemed to
Clearly, Alpha was the more difficult series, but I think we just
Alistair's-
actually locked the fuck in for this one.
Alistair's my guy. So I used to play with him on like a bunch of other teams, so it's always fun playing against him.
Yeah, it was a great series to watch, guys. I was really excited to see you guys play. I had you guys as the favorites, but I had to throw some curveballs in the predictions because Quastek will kill me. Fel, any other questions?
No, I will say though that JJ did kind of he didn't sound very confident when he said, "I think Cupid can kind of pull this one out." So he was not riding, but he was definitely like he kind of could tell that you guys were drafting that way. And kind of on that, is there anything specific that you guys try to change? Maybe depending on who you're playing against. Do you guys try to do anything crazy as far as like either following or getting away from the meta to really do anything like special, or do you guys just kind of practice the same kind of stuff and just run with it? And do you guys have like comps that specifically you want to play, this champ with this champ or this champ with this champ, or is it kind of depend on how Evil Lobster is feeling at that time?
Like a mix, because we have Sivir Wukong. It's like we're notorious for this. We draft the same two champs in game one for like the first 8 or 9 games of the split.
Yeah, it's like Sivir Wukong Karma, like every game.
We did the same thing over and over again. The one thing I will say is that everyone has a very clear idea of what the fuck they want to play, and everyone knows what they want to do. It's not like anyone's like, I don't know how to play this game. Like, no, everyone knows what they need and what we need. We just don't always hit the right button.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys really do look like you play all the time together. I could almost swear that, Lobster and Kiwi are probably playing on land, sitting next to each other, high-fiving each other as they're invading together and stuff. Like, you guys really worked like a well-oiled machine. It was a pleasure to watch and a pleasure to cast this. So before we close out, Alaskan or Kiwi, I guess we'll start with Alaskan. Is there anybody that you would like to say thank you to, or whatever? If you want to give a shout out to anyone on your team or your, specifically, just go ahead.
Yeah, a few people. First, Lobster, obviously, because when I drafted him in the Akuma tournament, that's how we met, and that's how he actually ended up getting me over over here. It was the weirdest fucking tournament of my life, and I won't get into that, but it ended up with this, and I'm totally happy with that. Shout out to fucking Freakter, the little guy in Ohio. He went up to 750 LP. Love that guy. Good luck to Hazem. Hazem on Tuesday is playing in his fucking Aegis finals. So if we both win M600, yeah, you fucking suck.
Beat my ass.
Hazem wins M600 chip with me, it'll be absolutely excellent. And then yeah, that's pretty much everything. That's the big ones. Shout out Setter. He's always my fucking fan.
You guys had a lot of fans in this chat, and especially you and Kiwi, and obviously Lobster. I think that was the most that I saw. So Kiwi, is there anybody that you would like to thank before we close out?
Shout out DDG, shout out all my teammates, everyone always playing super good, playing serious, which I like. There's no messing around. I mean, there is having fun and stuff, but everyone's always taking it seriously. My other team, shout out Con. Everyone on Con is cool as well. I'm glad I won today because I literally lost both semifinals Monday and Tuesday back to back. So that was heartbreaking, but yeah, that's about it. Shout out all them guys. They're all
sorry I couldn't make it 3 for you.
Never could, bro. Zol and Dorado will never ever beat me. So.
There you go. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this post-series interview. Congratulations once again. Go back with your team. Enjoy the victory.
I got one more shout out. Yeah, I got one more. So shout out to me because I finally gave Kodiak his Make-A-Wish chip. So
Yo, fuck you, man. That's not what we're here for. That's not what we're here for.
It's alright.
All right, I love the energy between you guys. It was such a pleasure for me to be able to step in and cast this one last minute. So thank you guys for giving me such a great show. And one more time, thank you, JJ, also filling in tonight alongside with me. I am Fel. That was JJ. This was the DDG interview with Alaskan Kodiak and Mr. Kiwiism, both popping off super hard. And congratulations to DDG for their 3-0 victory over Cupid Esports. And thank you once again to Chris Sunga, our production, along with Antai. And thank you everybody at the Titan Esports for bringing this to us, and hope to see you guys next season. This was a blast, and with that, thank you very much for tuning in, chat.